whole bunch of Nintendo Direct stuff and E3. That's fun. I'm AJ. I'm here with Parker. Hello, Parker.
Hello, I'm Parker. I'm here with AJ. Hello, AJ.
But yeah, housekeeping stuff. You could be a member by joining on youtube.com/fanatics4 for $4.99. That's how much it is, isn't it?
Something like that.
You get exclusive emotes. You get gaming time. You get loyalty badges. You get free Switch keys from time to time. You get access to our supporter-only Discord. Our Discord, by the way, is looking up. You know what I mean? Before, not many people talked in there. But turns out all you got to do to change that is just talk. You know? That's all you got to do. Because, like, for me, like, the Discord became, like, a weird thing. Because, like, when we first started it, it was, like, a lot. I mean, it's probably around where... that's not true. It was, like, a lot more active than it is and has been in recent months. But like once it got to that point, people were like having conversations amongst themselves and stuff like that, you know.
Yeah.
I didn't want to just like jump in and be like, hey, pay attention to me. But turns out people want me to be in there, so I'm in there now and we talk all the time. It's great, it's fun time. But yeah, you get supporter only Discord and stuff like that. You can also be a supporter through listener support. It's similar to YouTube, but you don't get the loyalty badges and the emotes. So that's cool. Eventually, that'll apply to streams and stuff like that once Twitch fixes their BS. But right now, still in limbo. So TBD on that. But apart from that, we can get started with the show. And
nice.
That means we're talking about... Actually, no. We got to talk about what games we're playing. I almost forgot about that.
That's true.
I'm playing...
Short list over here.
I'm playing Pokemon still.
Nice.
Ultra Sun. Which now, I got to say, free products. Product provided by Nintendo. Which is like... I just got too impatient with that because I reached out to them. I was like, hey, I want to like do this. I want to like play through this game again and blah, blah, blah. And I didn't get a response. It was like a day or two. And I was like, all right, they're taking too long. I'm just going to buy it. And I bought it. And then the day or the day after that, they're like, oh yeah, here, you can have both of them. And I was like, okay. so nice. They sent me Ultra Sun and Ultra Moon. Playing Ultra Sun specifically.
Nice.
I'm catching everything still.
Yep.
Like all the things that I see, which is very different from how I usually play these games.
That's usually how I do play. Most of the time.
I don't. I'm like, nah, I don't like that one. I don't want that on my team. Usually I just catch what's going to be on my team specific, like at the like end part of it, you know, like I'll have like a temporary thing where it's like, oh, you're cool, but like you probably won't stay the whole time. But you know, this Pokemon I won't get until this route, so I'll wait. But now I'm just catching everything.
I never have a particularly competitive team anyway. It's just like, this is a team that I like. They're fun and I like them. And so like at that point, I'm always kind of waffly anyway on which ones that's going to be until it comes down to it. And so like I'll have caught a bunch of stuff. And honestly, it's more than just it being ones that I like. A lot of times it's just I like having lots of type coverage. And so I'll just end up even if I don't have the best ones, I'll end up just having stuff that's even. But
unfortunately,
I don't know.
The best ones, like you know, like the best ones, the ones
right.
that like top tier competitive players play as. That's like 12 Pokemon.
Yeah.
I don't do all that. So I have like a mixture of all of those things where it's like I think this is cool. It's good type coverage. It's not a garbage Pokemon. So this is my team that I'll have. And like when I start new playthroughs, because I talked about that before with like the whole thing with the tier list and stuff like that. Right. I try to, when I'm doing new playthroughs and stuff like that, I'm like, oh, I didn't use that Pokemon on my team, so I'm gonna use this because I like a lot of Pokemon. There's very few that I just straight up I'm like, nah, I don't like this.
For example,
what, like Pokemon that I just straight up don't like?
Yep.
Like Purugly. Purugly's one that I'm like, nah.
Yeah.
I don't want that on my team.
Yeah. I can see that.
Conkeldor. I don't like him either. Yeah.
Yep.
He exists. There's probably a few other ones there, but I can't think of any of them that I just straight up like, no, get away from me. Just those.
Yeah.
They feel nice and special. You know what I mean?
I know exactly what you mean.
So yeah, I'm doing that, and I'm just thinking about Sword and Shield. I'm like, you're gonna be in Sword and Shield, and you're just gonna sit in the box because I'm gonna mostly have new ones and that.
Yeah, right, exactly. I do wonder. I wonder if Sword and Shield will have one of the bigger dexes, like not national dex, but or not,
like
local decks, but
yeah.
like mostly just because of the wild areas. Like, and I feel like they might even do it not like DLC, but kind of where like at some point they'll be like, because in the wild areas it's just kind of or wild area singular, it's kind
How
of just
dare
like
you? How
I
dare you
know.
say such a thing?
Um,
You're
I
crushing
feel
my
like they
dream.
could just be like, a couple months in, there's 10 new Pokemon that you wouldn't have ever seen before that show up as max raid battles or whatever, and then all of a sudden you can catch those
Yeah, I
in the
wonder.
wild.
Speaking of that, I mean, I don't think we have that on the schedule, but we might as well talk about the direct and then use
Yeah,
that to
I guess
transition
so.
into my video. So the direct, we talked about your thoughts, like our thoughts broadly on Wolf Den
Hmm.
Live, but more specifically, like, what do you think about like the whole wild area thing? Like, what was the most exciting thing for you? Was it
I think
the
I think
wild?
it was the wild area. Yeah. I mean, honestly, too, like the game. If we'd seen this trailer first, I think people would be way more excited about it than if they did the slow rollout from last time. Because I think like last time it was like, oh wow, it's pretty good, but it was disappointing in a couple areas, and then a lot of those areas that were disappointing got like
They're like, oh no,
fixed
no,
or
no,
whatever.
no, 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 no. It's not
Yeah.
that. You know,
And
like
so then they added new stuff. But like I kind of wish that they'd just gone straight for the jugular and like come out straight out of the gate with this stuff because this is like honestly what everybody wants.
mhm.
Um so
Well, I
that's
don't know about everybody.
well,
That's the
yeah.
thing. That's
Well, that's the
because
thing.
there's some
What do you
people
think
that like
you
I've
don't
been talking about the wild area a lot.
uh-huh.
Like that's my
Yeah.
brand now. It's talking about the wild area. And people are basically like there's some people who are like, I want it to be the whole game, or I
Oh,
think it is
well,
the whole game, and blah blah.
yeah.
And then there's other people that are happy that it's segmented like that.
Yeah.
I would want it to be the whole game, but like I
I
get
think it's
why they're not.
smart that it's not the whole like what it okay, so for clarification, anybody that's listening and disagrees with us, here's what we think and are like
Well,
97%
yeah,
sure.
it's probably going to happen. So just like
Unless they just very much miscommunicated because like what they communicated is pretty straightforward. It's that pretty much most of the game seems to be normal. Like they haven't said that so much as shown it,
I
but then
don't know if how I would quantify most
true.
because
Okay, yeah, that's it. I mean most routes or like most of
yeah, yeah,
the
yeah. Like as far as like singular areas, most
uh-huh.
of them seem to be normal
Yeah.
routes.
Yes, right.
But I would say
Quantity of
percentage wise, the
of
wild
the map.
area
Yeah.
is pretty decently sized. I'd say at
Yep.
least 33% of the
Something
map.
like that. Yeah. No, that's a good way of putting it. And I mean, it seems like too the map that they showed isn't one for one anyway. So it's
Mhm.
possible that some of the routes look small and windy, but are actually bigger. I don't know any of that kind of stuff. But I do actually wonder if they shrunk the regular routes between places to accommodate for the wild area. But in any case, so just to finish up that part, a lot of the like quantity of the single player game, I mean most of whatever, is just town to town regular kind of thing, regular routes, wild area or wild encounters with Pokemon, random encounters, that kind of thing. But then there's one big wild area right in the middle that has lots of different weather patterns, and it has a free roaming camera or like camera controls, and then that part is like a Breath of the Wild sort of thing with Pokemon roaming out and about.
Right.
But it's just that one big middle area,
Mhm.
not everywhere. At least that's what they've marketed it as. They could just be lying, I guess, but like
I just don't think
seems
that
weird.
makes
No.
any sense because it's like, why else would they even show wild encounters?
Yeah, right.
Like if the whole game was the wild area, because like you can see the wild area, like in the wild area, there's no like just straight up grass.
Yeah,
Like the
right.
Pokemon you see are there, they're all
Hmm.
there. But
And even when there is straight up grass, there's Pokemon in there,
yeah,
like
like in the
walking
grass.
around, like in Pokemon Let's Go.
Yeah, 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 yeah. Where it's like I would assume that a lot of the wild area has tall grass,
Yeah,
but like they still venture outside of it. It's not like the
yeah,
same
yeah.
thing of like when you're here, it's dangerous.
And it's probably not
Um,
even a spawn point like it was. Um, maybe I guess just
Yeah,
for
that's what I'm
looks.
saying. Like
Yeah.
that's what I'm saying. Like I don't know whether or not it's going to even be to that extent where they like spawn out of the grass, like they like
Yep.
just appear,
Yeah.
or like burrow from the
Hmm.
maybe the like burrowing from underground will still be a thing because that's
Yeah.
still like diegetic, like it
Uh
still
huh.
makes sense in the
At
logic
least
of the
with
world.
some types of Pokemon.
Yeah,
Suddenly a Pidgey just emerges from underground. Like,
yeah,
what? You know. Um, one thing I was just thinking about too. So it's always fun. I thought it was fun in Pokemon Let's Go to be like walking around and then all of a sudden you see, I don't know, a Scyther or something, and it's like, whoa, there's a Scyther, and it's really exciting, and you go find the Scyther. But there's going to be a lot of Pokemon. It sounds like I would imagine a lot that start in raid battles where you have those first. That's how you can catch the Pokemon, and then from there they become available in. They'll like show up in the overworld after you've caught them the first time in the raid battle, which I think is a smart like mechanic. It's good and incentivizes raid battles, which incentivizes multiplayer and a bunch of stuff like that. But at the same time, like I hope they have enough cool Pokemon that don't
just
show up that way.
just
That just
out in the wild.
yeah, even if they're not the most powerful ones, like um it makes sense for like Tyranitar or Dragonite or whatever to show up there for the first time in the raid battles. But it would be great if again like Sizor or Scizor, however you want to say it,
I was about to
or
say, how dare you call it that? That's not
that's
as
always
bad.
how I've called him since I was a kid, just because Scyther and then like
This is
Sizor.
that's
But
just
it's
wrong.
I also called Ratatat for
I know a
the
lot of people that
longest
call it
time.
that. I know a
Yeah.
lot of people. I know people that still call it that.
Yep.
So that one's not as bad. But no, that's not as bad as this is a tangent. But Anthony Carboni, you know him. Like he does a lot of like stuff for PlayStation now. He works for
Okay.
Star Wars.
Nice.
He calls Scyther Skyther.
No, that's
Yeah,
bad.
that's just not okay.
No.
That's very wrong.
What
But yeah, tangent
a
aside,
mistake. Yeah.
yes, he is. No, uh, but
Yeah.
but no,
Yeah, I
like
just hope they
yeah,
have cool Pokemon out there.
right. And I do hope that we see a lot more things to do in the wild area with your friends because
Yes.
like they've like toyed around with the idea of like be in your friend's world, like even
Mhm.
if it's like in this small contained area, like do things together, hunt for minerals and rare candies and
Mhm.
stuff like that, or compete in this cooking mini game, or
Mhm.
like do whatever. And this game would be dope if you can just like straight up be like, hey, come in my game and not only help me grind out this max raid, but also let's do other things.
Yep. I fully agree. No, that would be and it's hard to tell. They didn't really show any inclination one way or another with that where like the only time we saw multiple players on screen was like as they were walking up to the max raid battle area thing, which could very well be a cutscene where like you have connected with 3 friends and then like
Right.
bloop, 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 or it could be them actually wandering around together. But
The
that would also,
thing
yeah, I don't know.
they did say when they were talking about the like play online in
Hmm.
the raid area and stuff like that, they said one of the things that you can do with up to 3 friends
That's
for
cool. Okay.
max raids. We don't know what else that means,
Yep.
but it does sound like you'll be able to do something else with
Hmm.
your friends in the wild area, whether that be like persistent in their like. I doubt it's going to be this thing of like, oh, I'm online and you're online and there I am and there you are. Like I don't know if
Yeah.
it'll be like that deep. I still think it's very much so going to be this thing of like, hey, Corviknight, fly me over to the other world, and it's
Hmm.
like, do you want to accept your friend's Corviknight flying into your world? It's like, yeah,
Yep.
sure, why not? And it's that whole opt-in, opt-out
Uh
sort of
huh.
situation.
I do
Um,
like Corviknight. Just saying,
he's
pretty dope.
terrifying.
It's seven
But
foot tall. That's
yeah, yes, he's this
really
giant
tall.
steel, evil-looking gargoyle bird,
Yep. It's fun.
which I'm down for.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, I think the wild area is probably what I'm most excited about. But I mean, I also don't think it'll be where necessarily spend the most of my time either, because
I agree.
I mean, I just I also look forward to going through and doing the regular gym stuff. Or I just wonder, I feel like it could be like it's a great idea for them to do that. They could also balance it fairly well or fairly poorly and frustratingly or whatever. Like I don't know, leveling wise, like I don't know if it's like once you hit level 50, you can go into this area and then everything's level 50, or or if
What
they
it
scale with
looks like
you.
to me it's kind of like a Ocarina of or not even necessarily Ocarina of Time, probably more involved than that. But it looks like the literal like central hub of the world, right?
Mm-hmm.
Like I think that that's going to be the bulk of how you get around to like the
Mm-hmm.
next route or whatever, where it's like, you know, they usually do the thing of like this is blocked off for X reason or whatever.
Right.
But this time you're not going in this linear path, which it's going to be linear probably.
Yeah.
But like you're not going from one route and then you go straight down and then you meet another route and then you're blocked off. I think it's
Mm-hmm.
going to be these branching paths of like you can go to this route, and this route, and this route, but this one's blocked off for whatever reason that they
Yep.
come up with. Like you return back to the wild area multiple
Mm-hmm.
times to progress from whatever next town.
Yep.
As far as like how they handle levels of the Pokemon themselves, I'm getting Xenoblade vibes,
I hope so.
and
That would
that
be
would be
cool.
dope. I
Yeah.
mean, they did say that Pokemon react, you know, like they have different
Mm.
temperatures as far as like some chase you and some don't, you know, like that sort of
Oh, I
thing.
didn't even hear them say
So,
that. Okay.
so maybe, you know, like we just got a level 60 freaking Avalug or whatever, and he's like, I'm not gonna bother with you.
Uh-huh.
But you walk by and he sees you got 7 gym badges, and he's like, oh yeah, now's the time.
That was one thing, honestly, like I think some people didn't like that for some reason about Xenoblade, but like I loved getting into what was that? It started with a G. Whatever. It was like one of the earliest areas.
I know what you're talking about. I don't.
Yeah, but
Yeah.
like you just get in there and there's straight up a T-Rex that's level 91.
Yeah.
Like I
And people
finished.
don't like that because they don't want to like they don't like the feeling of like I'm just exploring and then this thing walks past and steps
I
on
mean,
me
I
or whatever.
guess, but like I mean, yeah, I get why you're right. That's what people think, but like it's a little bit dumb to think that. I think just because like I probably got killed by it once accidentally because it's like it has a pretty wide path, and in the same way that like you have to avoid a thwomp in Mario, you can just be like and go,
Yeah,
like and
that
just
makes
avoid
it
it, and
that
you're fine.
gamifies exploring, you
Yes,
know? Where it's
exactly,
like,
and
"Oh,
so
shoot, that thing, I'm not going near that." You
yeah,
know? Like, I mean, it makes it more like the rest of the Pokemon IP where they do
yeah,
have moments where it's like, "Yo, there's a Gyarados over there. We can't
hmm
go over there." You know?
yeah,
Like, so doing that whole thing, I think, would
hmm
make a lot of sense, and it would add that, like, longevity to the wild area where it's not just this thing of, like, "I already have my Pokemon on level 45 or whatever.
hmm
Everybody in the wild area is 20. They're
yeah,
not worth battling anymore," you know?
yeah. So I hope they just do a good job, whatever it is, that they figure out a good way to do it so that it stays fun. And maybe, yeah, I don't know. It just and has progression in it because I could also see them doing something where it's like when you go in here, all of a sudden it's like Pokemon Stadium kind of thing where all of a sudden all of your Pokemon are level 50 and all of
Yeah,
these Pokemon are level 50. It's like, all right, like that's fine, but it doesn't feel like it doesn't feel like progression. Like I was talking to my friend Mitch yesterday or a couple days ago, and we both played Diablo when it came out on Switch, and I
nerd.
played, yeah, I played it a little bit and then fell off fast, and he played a little longer, but then fell off as well. And we were talking about it, and I was like, I think I just don't like the gameplay. Honestly, is fine. Like I enjoy the gameplay, all right, but just the progression of it is legitimately just like not interesting at all because I like Zelda type progression or whatever where
Yeah,
you get an item and it's like meaningful that you leveled up or got that thing. Whereas I swear, like as I was playing Diablo, every 30 seconds I'd get an item where it's like, oh well, that's better than my other weapon. So like go manage and like switch out or blah 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 and like
right,
then keep going. And 30 seconds later I get another thing. So it just makes everything feel pretty worthless
right.
as opposed to so in the same way in Pokemon, like as long as the progression is good in that wild area, that's cool beans.
That's all we need. That's all we
Yep.
need. We also need to, I guess, discuss the comments in my video.
We should.
We're already talking about Pokemon. We're already
Yep.
here.
Let's do it. All right.
Uh,
So starting off with Brooks Eggleston, also known as what's his
Character
other
design forge.
true
He is a
accurate.
friend of the show. He makes YouTube videos, and if you
Mm-hmm.
like character design and
He does a
cute
great
little
job.
animals and whatnot, check him out.
Yeah. I've seen a couple of his videos. There he goes by another name though, doesn't he? Or is it just those two?
Oh, Bagel Denizen on
Yes. Okay. That's
Twitter
the one I
and,
was trying to
and
think of and I couldn't remember.
Patreon and whatnot.
Yeah. Cool. Hello,
It's too
Brooks.
many names.
All right, Brooke says, I always view the Mega slash Z move slash Dynamax type stuff to be exclusively a gimmick to get kids excited. That's why they seem to like the kind of exaggerated, wow, awesome feature a 12-year-old would buy a game because of. I don't really care to get disappointed by Dynamaxing because scaling up the model is much easier than designing new ones. That frees them up to make the actual significant changes like the open world and more, hopefully.
Um, yeah, I mean, I
Yeah.
talked to him a little bit about this in my response to his comment, where it's like, I don't know if it came off like I'm like, oh, I hate that they added this and like they wasted their time on like I don't really think like that. It's just
hmm
something that like I saw and I was like, oh, this doesn't really interest me. I get why they did it.
hmm
They definitely do want that new big thing that's like this is what makes Pokemon new and different, you know,
Yeah.
like while we're sitting here, we're like, oh, well, I want the old thing, you know, like whatever. So it's like I get it. Like they got to do what they got to do. I was just specifically saying that like there was nothing about that like excited me. I wasn't like, yo, all I wanted was to
hmm
have a giant Rattata. That's all I wanted in life, you
Yeah.
know, like so.
I think the only benefit of it is what it means for like aesthetically and whatever there's it whatever who cares like that it doesn't matter but as far as like what it means for playing with friends that kind of thing like
Yeah,
I think that's beneficial and that's the main thing like pretty much and
I
like I
think
don't know how much good beneficial strategy it's going to add to gym battles or whatever like it's just going to be what it is and like I don't think it'll make the gameplay any better and maybe a little worse but probably not.
I think like best case scenario, and this doesn't seem like it's going to be the case because it just seems like it's going to be like a boost to like pretty much everything that can do it.
Right.
Best case scenario would be if it was a way to level the playing field in regards to like making more Pokemon competitively viable.
Right.
But I just doubt that's going to happen because like yeah, you can Dynamax your Grookey or whatever, right?
Uh-huh.
But you can also then Dynamax a Gyarados, you
Yeah.
know. So like he's still more competitively viable than
Mhm.
Grookey is.
Yeah.
So I don't know if it would be that, and I think that that would be like my like ideal situation if they were to do another like different gimmick. Would be to make more Pokemon matter,
Mhm.
in the grand scheme of things. If they weren't to do that, I would rather them do that through gameplay, you know, because like
Right.
ultimately, like you can be good with pretty much any character in like a game that's like action based if you're just better than your opponent, you know.
Right. Yeah.
But in Pokemon, it's just like there's at least like 75% of the roster that like no matter what you do, you're not going to win a battle against somebody that even knows a little bit about what they're doing.
Yeah. No, that's definitely true. And I think that's the trick or the trouble with building a single player game that also has multiplayer kind of things where like you want in the single player side of it to have a Caterpie at the beginning that once you get a Machop or whatever, you're like, this is better. Obviously, those are entirely different Pokemon, but
Yeah,
whatever. Like, you want to have better Pokemon as you go through it. So for a single player purpose, that's great. Like, that's awesome that some of them just plain old suck. But
right.
at the same time, like you said, in a competitive type sense, that kind of lessens that. So obviously, they lean more towards. I mean, all these people arguing about like Pokemon has to stay competitive and blah blah blah, like and be really competitive, and that's what it's about. Like obviously it's not. Otherwise they would have made all the Pokemon equal. They would have prioritized what you're saying
I don't
instead
even know
of
if
the
that's
single
true.
player.
Because like for something to be competitive, it's inherently going to have like the bulk of the things be not good. You know, like Smash Brothers, right? Like there's
hmm
probably like 20 like good Smash Brothers Ultimate
hmm
characters, maybe a little bit more than that. But most of the roster is just like, nah, that's not a good character, you know. And I mean that's just how it
hmm
works. I think more so the casual side of me wants more
mm,
Pokemon to be viable because like I like more than
yeah,
just the
that makes
thing
sense.
that's good, you know? Like I want to
hmm
be able to like do the Ash thing and somehow have my Pikachu be able to win a battle, you know?
Yeah.
Like that sort of situation where it's like I can
hmm
outthink you by using the thing that I like rather
yeah.
than being strong armed into using the thing that mathematically wins, you know?
Which I mean, honestly, they kind of did that. Actually, they did sort of do that with just within Let's Go
Mhm.
with having. I mean, the like them liking you and therefore doing the anime thing of like Pikachu shrugged it off because he cares about you,
Yeah.
sort of a deal. And then also uh, yeah, I mean, just giving them more like candies or whatever, which boosts them up, which again is like super OP. But
Mhm.
within the game, you can do it. And then like you can carry anybody to victory pretty much.
Yeah.
But
Yeah.
it's
Yeah.
pretty lame and cheesy at the same time. But no, yeah, I'm with
I
you.
just need a happy medium,
Yep,
where it's like it's not just a gimme to be like, oh
yep,
yeah, this thing won because that's what you like and that's it.
yep.
But it's also like it is that thing of like as somebody that like exclusively plays the game or whatever, right? They'll look at something like Ash's Pikachu beating Onyx, right? And be like,
Hmm.
that's not realistic, blah blah.
Yeah.
But really, logically, it is pretty realistic how he did it. Like the sprinkler
Yeah.
system went off,
Right.
that weakened Onyx, rip Onyx.
Yeah.
Like that makes sense. So like if you're able to use your environment to your advantage, I think that would be pretty dope.
Yeah. No, that'd be super cool.
Just
Oh,
doing stuff like that.
yeah. It would also be cool if Jordan DeBest said this following comment, and he did. He said, "I think Magnolia and the champion are part of the evil team. That would be so cool."
Ooh, hot take.
I know they tried to play up Lysander and Lusamine as not the villains of the games, but it's like come on, you expect me to believe they aren't malicious in any way?
Mhm,
I think the champion as evil would actually give Hop more of a character arc, and also with Sonia. I also think Sonia might be the one to give you your Pokemon. Dynamax seems silly from a storytelling prospect, but actually a really hilarious mechanic. Pokemon has honestly been embracing, I think he meant to say, embracing the more silly side of Pokemon with memes on Twitter. Same thing with Nintendo, actually, which is kind of great because it finally seems during the Switch generation they're more in tune with what people want.
mhm.
Yep.
Uh, as far as like, I guess I'm gonna address these backwards because recency bias. As far as like the whole meme thing, I feel like they did that for the bulk of the Wii U generation too, where it's like
Mm,
a lot of their marketing strategy was being a meme, you know.
mm,
And I feel like that's just them paying attention to the general trend of being a brand on Twitter,
hmm.
like
Or
the
rather,
Sonic the
they just
Hedgehog
hired people
account
who
and
already were
Wendy's.
doing that kind of
Yeah,
thing,
that
and
too.
that's what they did. So
Right, right,
no,
right.
yeah, totally.
So like as far as that goes, yeah. But I also think it's just like how like time passing more than anything. Less so than them like making a concerted effort to be like, we gotta be like the kids,
Yep.
They're more like we gotta be like Sonic the Hedgehog's Twitter, less so than like we gotta give the fans what they want.
Yeah. No, yeah, you're definitely right. I mean, even just looking at the Pokemon Company, anytime they'll tweet out, like every couple of days, they tweet out a new Pokemon from Gen 1 to promote Pokemon Let's Go, and they'll give a little description or blurb or whatever about it. And like Eevee's was, you can pet the Eevee in Pokemon Let's Go Pikachu, which is, can you pet the dog? Like, that's
Right.
definitely a meme thing. So I think that's definitely something they're embracing, but
Yeah.
I
And I
personally,
mean, like, it definitely is like what you said, because like I follow Chaka. She's the like head of that team
okay.
on Twitter, and she's very much so into memes, So it's like it just makes sense. It's like, yeah, like I can see that.
Yeah.
So yeah,
Yeah,
that
as
makes
far as the like, also yeah, Dynamax being silly from a story perspective prospect, yeah, I mean
mhm.
it is,
Yeah,
but it's fun.
and
It's
we talked about this a little bit. We had our little
hmm.
debate, me, you, and Justin.
Yeah,
Well, people in the Discord in general, a lot of people were joining in on that.
hmm.
Where it's like, I mean, it's Pokemon.
Yeah,
It's silly. It's a very silly thing. It's not
hmm.
something that like. I mean, I feel like a lot of Pokemon fans take a lot of things about it seriously. Where it's like, oh yeah, like Entei's one of the cool ones, so he's a serious like he's
Hmm.
one that a distinguished person can like that sort of thing. But
Yeah.
it's like, dude,
If you walked up to like a real
you can
distinguished human on the road and you were like, "Here's this Entei for you to love," they'd be like, "What a silly thing is that?"
yeah,
Like even
exactly.
our top cool thing is like, all right, it's
It's like,
like
yeah, this is
it's
ridiculous.
it's
And I
just
mean,
fun and
like
awesome,
at the end
But
of the day, like that can be said about a lot of things that people take seriously.
oh,
Like
totally.
ultimately, Game of Thrones is silly,
Yeah, I mean, all of video games, like when you really think about it, is like we take it really seriously, but at the same time, it's like it's just video games, you know.
Yeah.
So like,
Which there's nothing wrong with that. There's nothing
absolutely
wrong with
not.
things
Yeah.
being silly, but it's just a matter of like people take things way too seriously and try
Hmm.
to like hold up their standard or their idea of what makes X good or look good or
Right.
whatever to like everything else, you
Hmm.
know?
Yep.
So like as far as like I think Dynamax falls along those lines where it's
Hmm.
like the whole brand is silly. Dynamax, and it's funny because like once this was revealed, people were like, "Oh man, like connecting the dots." You know, it's like there was a giant Tentacruel and
I love that.
giant Pikachu and Bulbasaur and stuff like that. It's like, yeah, we always had Dynamax, we just didn't know it.
Which
Um,
makes me so like that's what I want. I mean, I even talked about that sort of a thing in my Zelda video or my Link's Awakening video or whatever. Like, I just love stuff that seems like it's been planned all along when obviously it hasn't. But
yeah.
like, it's great. I like it.
Yeah, like at the time they just threw that out. They're like, "Hey, giant
Yep.
Pokemon," and then now they're like, "Oh, but like we did that giant Pokemon that one time. What if we made that a mechanic?" And they're like,
Yep.
"Oh man, let's do that," and then not even refer back to the giant Pokemon
Yeah.
thing. People will do that on their own, and then we'll
Yep.
be a meme.
I mean, that's exactly what like all of game theory is
Yeah,
like taking stuff that's like most of it's not really a thing, but piecing it all together and be like, it was a thing all
yeah.
along. It's like, well, it wasn't,
I feel like
but it's great and it's
this
fun.
is like one of those things that is too obvious that I don't know. Maybe they will make a theory about it, but I feel
Yeah.
like that would kind of be a waste of the effort because like everybody already made that connection where it's
Yeah,
like, oh,
right, exactly.
giant
I don't
tentacle,
know
he
if there's
started it
enough to
all.
turn it into 15 minutes of really
Of a
anything,
like of a
unfortunately.
gotcha moment, like
Yeah,
you
right.
didn't expect this, you know?
Yep. As far as the good guys being bad guys, though, like, yeah, I'm definitely down with that. Magnolia looks to me also like what's her face from Agatha
Oh
a
yeah,
little
yeah,
bit. Just saying. I thought it was Agatha, and I was like, what's she doing in here?
yeah.
It's not.
I think if they were the bad guys, it would probably be like I would be like, that's cool. In comparison to the last few times when they did that, where I'm like, that's dumb because it was pretty obvious. Like,
Yeah,
I don't care what nobody says. Lysander looked evil from day one, you know.
that's the
So
thing.
it was
Yeah.
never a thing of like, oh shoot, he's evil, you know. And
I
then
think, I mean, that's the problem with like things that are built for kids, especially where or like that include kids in their demographic. I think try to do that on purpose for some reason or whatever. Like try to not make it. Honestly, even like when I was
because I
playing,
feel like even kids know that. Like kids know what the evil design looks like, even if they're
yeah,
not thinking of it like
right,
that. Where he's like,
yeah,
he's clearly designed to look evil. You know, like they're not
yeah.
saying that in their head, but they're like, oh, he looks like a bad guy.
Because I
You know?
was playing when I was playing Xenoblade Chronicles 2, there was a character that came in and like he looked like he could go either way, and it was like an opposing force of sorts at one point, and he was like, "Here I am, and I'm a bad guy, ha ha ha!
Yeah.
I'm gonna defeat you." But then he like derped it up and like fell down and stuff, and I was like, "Oh, he's gonna be on our team at some point." And then
Mhm.
sure enough, like he was on our team at some point because
Right.
that's just like you can't have bad guys in anime type things or be silly pretty much, except for Jesse and James and whatnot. But yeah, I'm curious. I hope they do some cool stuff with like Leon and Hop. That would be. I feel like they're not going to, and it's going to be really normal. But
Mhm.
I would really enjoy if they did interesting stuff.
Yeah.
That is all.
And I feel like with what is her Lucamine or whatever her name is.
Hmm.
Yeah, that's her name. I feel like they did it better. So they're getting better at doing that because she, like, her design, I wouldn't say off the bat looked evil. The things that clued me off that I was like, oh yeah, she's bad news, is her facial expressions,
Mm,
which that for Pokemon is like pretty cool
yeah.
that
Yeah.
they even gave those cues.
Also, just maybe there's a comment that even mentions this, but it really seems like there's voice acting in it.
Yes.
I don't know for sure, but
I
it
mean, I said
really,
that in the
yeah,
video, so maybe
yeah,
it
no,
wasn't me
exactly.
that was
Okay,
saying
yeah. um, yeah, there were just a lot of things where, like, as I was watching the direct, I was like, the gym leader's just standing there going, but like,
yeah.
it's not the same. Like, playing Pokemon Let's Go, there were some, like your rival especially would just go
Yeah, like they
over
kind
and
of
over.
do
I'm like,
like
dude, stop it.
and like the older Pokemon games, well, really just in this generation, there's like sometimes like mannerisms of like maybe they'll open their mouth a few times or whatever, right? But
Right.
it's more so in like that Banjo Kazooie sort of way where it's
Hmm.
like they're just like it's an idle animation
Yeah.
pretty much. But in this, like they look like straight up lip flaps, where
At one
it's
point,
like
it looked like
fully
somebody said
animated,
"thank
like
you," and I was like,
yeah,
"They're saying thank you."
like that sort of thing. So like I definitely think there's going to be like some level of it. I don't know if it's going to be like fully voice acted or
Mm,
anything like that. I think it will probably be on the like the Breath of the Wild side of things, where
yes,
there
I
are
agree.
some cutscenes and then those cutscenes are voiced.
Yep, I think. Yep, I totally agree. You're not gonna like NPCs in the town, in the cities or whatever, are just gonna have dialogue boxes, and that's
Mhm.
fine. I am totally fine with that. I mean, that was, yeah, like you said, that was the case in Breath of the Wild, and Breath of the Wild is like my personal standard of like that's what I want worlds to feel like,
Mhm.
which is a very high standard technically, but whatever. Seven says the direct was lit. My two highlights were Wooloo. Whoa,
Wooloo's dope.
yes, I'm an Agent
Bob
of
calls
Empires
Wooloo
nerd.
Woolo. Bob doesn't know how to read.
Also, I don't get the Age of Empires reference. I'm sorry, Seven.
Same.
I never played it. I played some Civilization back in the day. And actually controlling the camera. I know it shouldn't be such a shock to be able to do that in 2019, but this is Pokemon we're talking about here. Also, digging the thumbnail art these past two videos. Who did them? Edit. Forgot about Champion Leon. Dude is so extra. I love it.
Okay, so going backwards again.
Yep.
Leon definitely looks like a goofball.
Yep.
And I was
I'm
talking
all
about
about
this. I was yeah for sure. But like I also think Hop kind of looks dumb. Like his hair kind of looks stupid. But like Leon's like I mean not Leon. Hop's outfit dope. You know,
it.
like I'd wear
Yep.
that jacket. You know, but like his hair looks stupid, and that's just about it. Leon looks ridiculous, and I'm down for it.
Do you think we'll have also? Yeah, you mentioned in the video. You think we'll have another rival, and probably not a friendly rival, but like somebody more actually rival.
Right.
Cool. Me
I
too.
don't know if I don't know if I would describe them as like not friendly because
Mm.
it does sound like Pokemon Company is like not down with not making them that, you
Uh
know?
huh.
But like at the very like worst case scenario, they'll be like misunderstood. Like
Yes.
and like somebody
Yeah.
pointed that out in the comments where it's like they put the timestamp of like where I was like I gave Silver
Mhm.
Glaceon or whatever his name, Gladion,
Uh-huh.
as an example of rivals that were like influenced by the rival team or the enemy team.
Mhm.
Uh, he was like, N is like, show some respect or something along those lines. And I'm like, yeah, I mean, that's true. And he's probably like the best example because like he was like unwittingly the bad guy, you know, like he
Mm.
thought he was doing something good.
Yeah.
So
Hmm. True. But yeah, going backwards some more. Who did the thumbnails? That's all Justin.
yeah, that was
Yeah,
Justin.
he's doing a good
Since we do a lot of like stuff that doesn't exist, I just figured it would be a good idea to have that be a custom thing, you know? Like,
job.
because you can't just Google, I can't Google, and this has literally happened where Parker's like, hey, I want to make a thing about Waluigi dating sim. And I'm like, okay. And then it's like, that just doesn't exist. It's not a thing.
No.
So I can't find images of that. you know?
Yeah.
So it's easier to just be like, hey, Justin, we're making a video about a Waluigi dating sim. Draw what that would look like.
Easier for us, harder for him.
Yep.
but but yeah, he's been doing a good job. Good
Right.
job, Justin. Other things, Wooloo was awesome. Yes. Cute
Oh
and
yeah,
cuddly.
and the
And
controlling the
controlling the
camera thing.
camera.
I don't
Oh,
know. I don't like this whole sentiment of like it's X year. You should be doing X. Like,
right.
'cause it just like it like purports that like everybody's progress is just should just be standard. You know,
Hmm.
like by this logic, it's 2019. We should be able to make a game that's fully open world, and you
Yeah.
know, like
Yeah.
that sort of thing, or even like trying to like compare it to one other person. We should be able to make Undertale
Yeah.
because
I mean,
one dude did that. You
right.
know,
Or
like
Stardew Valley, same thing. Or I
yeah,
mean, I think the thing too is it's not even just a question of like what they should be doing or like what we should expect so much as just like also what they want to do. And if if they really do believe, I mean, if they did believe that like I think top down fixed camera, like Let's Go Pikachu and Eevee, or I mean, because that was on the Switch, and it could have very well had a free roaming camera, but they didn't do it for a number of reasons.
I feel like for this, and I've said this a couple times,
Hmm.
just in recent memory on Twitter,
Yeah.
where I'm like, I think that it's a functional thing for them. Like they wanted to do a controllable camera when it was for a reason. Like,
Yeah.
why do we need to be able to control the camera now? What
Right.
functional purpose would that have?
Hmm.
Even in Pokemon Let's Go, I'd say zero.
Yeah.
But in this case, where it is like more detailed and there are things that you can like visually pick out and see in the background and be like, oh, shoot, that item's over there, but I can't quite see what it is. Is it worth going over there? Is there people,
Hmm.
like moving the camera in that regard?
Yep.
Here, it makes functional sense.
Yep.
Before, it was just a thing that they
Just
checked off on a
immersion,
box because
probably. Yeah.
everybody else did,
Yeah. Right. Exactly.
it really didn't do much because like I would say even in regards to like immersion, like I don't see how that's any closer to like real life than having this fixed view, like I can't say, you know what, I want to see me in third person helicopter view now, like
Yeah.
you just have this one fixed perspective and that's it.
Hmm.
So like I just think like while I appreciate the fact that like that makes the game feel grander and stuff like that,
Hmm.
because like grander games have been made and they do have this feature.
Yep.
I don't think that one thing in isolation is what made that the reason. Like
Hmm.
Mario 64 has a controllable camera for a reason. They
Yeah.
wouldn't have put that in Mario 64 if they didn't need it for the game that they made. And I feel
Yep.
like they didn't need it for the game that they were making in the past, and now they do. Um, so yeah, as
Yep.
far as the controlling the camera thing goes.
Makes sense. You know what else makes sense? Supersonic Bro says Hop reminds me of Barry. His father was a frontier brain, and that inspired him to be a great trainer. The only difference is him choosing the weaker starter. I have a better feeling with Hop than How.
Agreed. And I didn't even think of that. Like, I didn't even think of that connection until I saw this comment because, like, I don't often think of Barry, but thinking of Barry, I would say he's top three rival, like
Mm,
easy, because like he's like the perfect balance of like what they want rivals to be now and
mhm,
also what we want rivals to be, where
mhm.
they don't just like say like, oh, like you're better than me and that's fine, I'll just be here, kicking my foot on, like kicking this rock back and forth, picking daisies.
Uh-huh.
But he's also not like, you suck, stupid kid,
Uh-huh.
smell you, like, even though like I would argue like even Gary wasn't necessarily like as mean as a lot of people think he was, or
Uh-huh.
Blue specifically.
Right, yeah.
um where the worst thing he said was smell you.
Yeah.
Like, I'm hurt. He said smell you, like so mean.
Yep.
Um, but yeah, I think that Barry is a good benchmark to aim for.
I wish what they I mean, what would be cool too is this kind of goes back to earlier Pokemon discussions of yours of like having different roles and responsibilities in the Pokemon world and stuff too. But
Mhm,
it would be neat to have, if you're going to have like kind of a compatriot rival type person, or somebody that's joining along with you, it would be cool to have a Brock and a Misty type
mhm.
character instead, where their goal is completely separate from yours, but
Yes.
is just there to join you. They'll like cross paths with you fairly often, and like, or even if it's like maybe honestly maybe Sonia is this where like maybe she's trying to learn stuff, and so she'll run into you and try to, if you meet certain requirements of some sort, as far as Dynamaxing goes or something else, um, then that'll benefit her in some way. So I guess honestly, even the like professor's aides were a very small version of that in the past, where you were trying to meet benchmarks, but they were kind of just a boring version that were
Yeah.
fairly not
Like, they
personable.
didn't matter to you. It was like,
Yeah.
oh, you're aid number three.
Yes, right, exactly. So, but something that's incentivized like that, but also is a character that's like you feel like is going along this journey with you, but for different purposes. So, they're cheering you on in different ways, or even if they like that they're better than you, or they're just, or I don't know, they're like, all right, hey, I'm going to give you some practice, so I'm going to use my
Yeah.
level 30 guys, and
Like, I
then
know
that.
you suck, so I'm gonna use
Yeah,
the Pokemon I just caught
yep.
yesterday.
Honestly, I mean, yeah, even kind of like Brock in
Pokemon
Brock
Origins.
yeah, is like, all right, I'll just use two because you're just starting out. So like,
Mhm.
I think that would be a cool way of doing it. Is there are people that are stronger than you, but they're kind of stooping down to your level to test where you're at. Like a
Right.
teacher giving a test.
I,
They're
I
not.
mean, I definitely feel like gym leaders are the best place to start with that, because
Yes.
it would be a way to make it like
Mm,
Link to the Past, OG Zelda, where
right.
you're like, I want to go to this gym first,
Yeah.
and like choose your own adventure in that way.
Uh
Where I
huh.
can be like, hey, I went to the dark gym first. What gym did you go to? And you're like, I went to the flying gym. And I'm like, there's a flying gym. And you're like, yeah.
Yeah. No, I that would be really cool. I mean, obviously that would have other implications of some sort, just as far as other kinds of progression go, because they obviously plan out type progression
Mhm.
or try to some degree, where it's like, oh, yeah, you get some bug Pokemon as some normal stuff, but that seems to be evolving a little bit as we go too. So I bet they could do it. Last comment from Ryan says, imagine they introduce the cosmic type because Pearl and Diamond are next for remakes, and those games rely pretty heavily on space. I'd also take sound or light type.
That would be dope. The only thing, like, like, I have conflicting feelings on this,
Huh?
where it's like they usually only introduce types when another type needs to get nerfed, you
Right.
know.
Yeah, that's what I was.
And I don't know if there is a type that would at least fit these criteria, that where it's like, oh, maybe fairy's too good, which I don't think that that's the case. But
Mhm.
maybe fairy's too good. We need a type that would nerf fairy. I don't know. Maybe sound would be a strong thing against fairies, but like then what would beat sound?
Yeah, right.
Rock or so? I don't know. Like light type. I think that light type would just be kind of like a poor translation situation.
Mm,
Because like dark type isn't that, like dark type is kind of like evil, but
right.
not necessarily like in that like mean, like fiendish, you know?
Yeah.
Not necessarily like I would say like fairy is already the yang. I mean the yin to that yang.
hmm Yeah, and I mean, and there's a lot, like, if we try to think, because those are more like cerebral type, I mean, like psychic and dark and light and fairy. It's like those are sort of made up type external things, but
Mhm.
like as far as practical physical things, we've also run out of. It's not like we can go back and double down on like aluminum type, like,
Yeah.
because most things just get catch-alled into, like, we can't have grass type and wood type because right now grass is just a mishmash of like grass stuff and wood stuff and all that kind of
Mhm.
thing. And so it's within that there's enough catch-alls to where I can't think of a exist like plastic maybe.
Because
Like,
like we sort of already have sound type. There's already like sound type attacks
mhm,
effectively.
right.
Where like these specific attacks have their own set of rules, even though
Yeah.
they're like normal type attacks,
Yeah.
like
I
there's
mean,
like this can like get through substitute, like that sort of
mm,
thing.
yeah. Hmm. Interesting. It would be cool to add some new types just because it's fun.
Yeah,
But
like
yeah,
just to do it.
I think you're right that I most of the time looking back, they added more types to balance stuff out more so than just because it's cool and fun. So I feel like probably for a while, I would suspect that we wouldn't get any more. But again, if they did, I'd be down with it. It would be dope.
If they add more, then that would incentivize them to add even more after that. Because then that new
True.
type will probably be broken.
Yep. Exactly. Yeah, good stuff. Any more thoughts on your Vidya?
Nope. I guess now is when we can talk about E3.
Let's do it. Yeah, I was gonna say let's talk about it with you. So you and also last week I wasn't here. I was dead.
Rip. Now
My
Dan, Dan, rip Dan.
Dan, bye Dan. I mean, for a second though, it sounded like it at the end of that podcast. It just like I knew it was coming because you told me like, well, Dan's like, Dan got struck
I mean,
by
we
light.
said it a couple times during the podcast too, didn't
Oh
we?
yeah, no, for sure. But like before I even listened to it, like I knew it's gonna end
Oh yeah,
because
yeah,
he's
yeah.
just gonna be gone.
Uh-huh.
And sure enough, thunderstruck and at one point, and I was just cracking up listening to it.
Rip
Um,
Dan, dude.
yep. So, but yeah, I was having floors being ripped out of my house because of water damage, and my house has been crazy and falling apart for a little bit now. So hopefully that gets better pretty soon. But in any case, I'm back in the moment, and I'm just hoping it doesn't coincide with actual E3 next week because
True.
I'm really looking forward to E3 week, but I'm not looking forward to having whatever, doesn't matter.
Yeah.
That's not Nintendo. We don't even care. E3 is Nintendo, and it's coming up. So I broke this up. I went ahead and just kind of like made a format. You guys talked about some good,
Yeah,
specifically.
we just randomly pull stuff where it's like that's happening, right?
Yeah, and mostly it sounds like talked about like a bunch of Xbox
Mhm.
stuff and their new consoles or whatever. So the lists that I've got are some known games games we know about, and then us just talking about some of them might be real fast, but what if we think we'll see them at all, and if so, in what way, and then if we maybe have a guess of like release date or something, and then some possible first party announcements, and then some third party stuff is
Right.
kind of the format that we've got. So first up, Mario Maker 2.
I think that we're going to get a full reveal, and we're going to learn all about that game, and they're going to tell us when it's going to come out.
Mm-hmm.
And I bet you I can guess the date. I bet you.
What an insider! Are you looking this up? You don't already know it?
I'm just telling you, I have the date. I'm not going to leak the date now. You want me to leak the date now?
I
How
mean,
dare you?
yeah, I'm
I'm
a
spoiling
heathen.
the date. But yeah, we already know that's coming out in the end of the month. We already
Yep.
know. So
Do you
I don't
think?
even like. I don't like the thing that was weird to me
Mhm,
because like when they announced the games that are like playable at E3, like
mhm.
Bob was like bummed out. Where he's like Mario Maker. That's the whole reason why I'm going to E3. I'm like, what? Like why would that? And I understand like that's the game he's most excited about for the
Uh-huh.
year or whatever. But like, why would you spend all this money to play a game that's coming out in 2 weeks? You know,
Yeah.
like that's wild to me.
Uh,
Because like I'm excited to play Mario Maker, but I wasn't going to go to E3 just to play that.
no, yeah.
Like, if
Maybe,
anything, it would have been Pokemon, and that's only because that's coming out in like 4 or 5 months.
yeah. That's a little ways away. Yeah, so I think okay, so the things I'm wondering about that whether or not we'll see for Mario Maker 2 is there's still the blank space for new game styles.
Right.
So it's possible that I don't think we'll spend very long on Mario Maker just because we just got a whole bunch of stuff on it.
Mhm.
So like we don't really need a ton of stuff, but I could envision that maybe during the invitational they announce a new game style,
Yes.
and
Yeah.
then they just throw it. Besides that, they just throw it in a sizzle reel. There's like almost always a sizzle reel in the E3 direct, pretty much in any direct that they have. But
Mhm.
in the direct, I think they'll just throw it in a sizzle reel of like Mario
Right.
Maker 2. Remember that? So that's my thought on that. I don't know.
Yeah. I hope Max we get like aside from the invitational. I mean, honestly, because I forgot all about that, which I think is today. At the
Tomorrow.
time that no, but like the
Oh,
time
you're
that
right.
this is out
Yes.
today. Um.
Yep.
So
It's at 9 a.m. PT, 12 like
So
noon.
like right after this podcast is
Yeah,
over, there you go.
pretty much.
Um so yeah, like hopefully like that's the extent of like what we see from Mario Maker. Like
Yeah.
I don't even want them to mention it at E3 because like this is a perfect time for them to make whatever announcements they want to make.
Yep.
Why do it during their E3 conference? Especially since we already have all this other crap that we know about, let alone what we don't.
Yes. Right. Exactly. Yeah, for sure. So I'm thinking invitational. They give an extra style. They throw in this is real. What if they give an extra style? Which one do you think it would be?
It's going to be Mario 64, despite me.
Uh, man, I keep going back and forth on this one. Like we're definitely going to get something new, whether it's now or like way later or whatever. Like we're definitely going to get something else, but um, I don't know. Like I mentioned at some point, like 2 weeks ago or whatever, that they like that Mario 2 would be a little disappointing comparatively now, where it's like, wow, all these hype things, and like, and Mario 2, like, all right, cool, we've wanted that, but it's not like a huge deal.
Mhm.
So I feel like Mario Galaxy would be, and it's still just 2D, but it just has the like the only question is if that would even be possible to like really create that, like um, that might be really weird to build levels with gravity type stuff
Yeah.
where
Because I mean, I feel like that would be kind of weird just because that is the one differentiating factor
right.
between that and 3D World.
Hmm. I
So
think
it's
there's
kind of
other
like,
items. I mean, like there's the blocks that or the like trap things that like when you jump they move around, and there's like a couple different
what do you mean?
there's I don't know. There's a bunch of different like kinds of
It's like I would
platforms
say, like a
and
lot of like
things.
the like the things that it innovated with as far as like platforming specific things
Uh-huh.
that weren't just the gravity, they just
Hmm.
moved them over to Mario to 3D World, like the shifting platforms where like
Hmm.
like you slide down the thing and it's like beep 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 and it changes to the next thing,
Yeah.
the red and blue
Yeah,
that
that one moved over. I'm talking about the ones where it's like it's red and blue, but every time you jump, it's like a
it
floop,
like flips
floop.
down. That
Yeah,
was
there's
in
red.
3D World too.
Oh, okay.
Mhm. So it's
Interesting.
like I would say
Yep.
most of the platforming things, if not all,
Yeah.
are already in 3D World.
Yep.
The only thing that like really sets that apart, unless they're just like it's fully 3D,
Yeah.
is the
The gravity stuff.
gravity.
Yep. So I think that, or I mean, honestly, I'd be happy if they did pretty much any of the
It's going to be Mario 64. I'm
things.
telling you. I'm
I would
telling
love
you.
it. It wouldn't do a whole lot new, but it would be great. All right, so that's Mario Maker 2. Moving on. Marvel Ultimate Alliance 3.
That exists.
Yep.
I mean, it's just something that like cool. You get to play as Spider-Man on your Switch.
Yep. I think sizzle reel, and that's it. We already know
Yeah,
a date. We know everything else. They won't even really go into it very much, personally.
yeah, for sure.
Fire Emblem Three Houses.
I hope they don't spend time on this, even though like this is like, I mean, I don't even know if I'm going to play this or not. Like we already talked about, like
Uh huh.
you're going to be the one to cover this on
Yeah.
our channel as far as that goes. But I don't know. Maybe I'll freaking buy it. Gotta buy it. Ew, gross. No, I'm joking. Uh, but I don't know. Maybe I'll buy it. Maybe I'll check it out. But I just don't want to hear about this during it. I think most RPGs do not demo well, and
Mhm.
Fire Emblem is one of those things.
I think what we need for this is a shortish story trailer, because the last one was like explanation of like you are a
Mechanics and
person
stuff.
who is
Yeah.
doing a thing, that kind of thing, where like really I think what we need is more like we've gotten even some character reveals of the big bads,
Hmm.
and we don't know anything about them besides like this guy's bad. Like, okay, cool. Or like, we know some stuff that's been pieced together, but it would be good to just have like just a short cinematic kind of yeah, what's going on, what our motivation is to beat the things in this game, because right now the most of the trailers themselves have mostly just shown like you're going to school or you're like teaching some people in school to be stronger, which doesn't give the impression of story that will actually be there. So
Right.
those are my thoughts.
Yeah.
Yeah. If it was
Things
coming
don't
out way,
demo.
way later, I don't know if they'd even do that,
Yeah.
because like Xenoblade, they waited so long to do actual like story stuff. Like it wasn't until November before it came out in December that they gave story things. But because this is
Yeah,
coming out in
I
July.
feel like something like this, and maybe that's a bit of why they do it with Pokemon, is so specific to you caring about that, Like I think action games and platformers and
Hmm.
all that stuff, they demo a lot better because
Yeah.
it's easier to see the appeal in it.
Hmm.
But like if you're not already an RPG guy and you're like into systems and all that crap, then like it's just boring. It's like, all right, like whatever, dude.
Yep.
Next.
Yeah. Yeah. I don't think at this point we've seen enough of the like gameplay mechanics side of it that we don't really need to see more of that. It's going to play generally like Fire Emblem does. I think if anything, there's like a little bit of overworldy stuff that hasn't been the case in pretty much other Fire Emblems, to where I think they can show off a little bit of that maybe, but it wouldn't even be really worth it. Might as well just do a story trailer.
Mhm.
My thoughts. Next up, Damon X Machina. Do we see this one? I don't think we don't have a release date for this one at all. They've said summer.
I think like is it still summer?
I don't know if it's still summer, but the last time they said something, I think they said summer,
I
but
feel like
they might have changed
they
that.
needed to push that because, especially since they did that whole like like the demo
Mm,
slash beta situation.
yeah,
If they're actually taking feedback, I'd imagine that they're pushing that.
yeah,
Maybe it's still 2019, but like at the same time, like why though?
yeah.
Because
No,
the only place I could see this going, if they actually like went for feedback and all that stuff, I could see this being like their December game. But
mhm,
there's so many games that could yeah, it still
yeah,
says summer 2019.
yeah.
What?
I think it's going to get delayed,
Um,
and I think most people will be generally fine with it. Like I think some people are really excited about it, but it's one of those like if it needs more time in the oven, it should probably get more time in the oven.
Mhm.
Unless like sometimes if you ask for feedback and then people give you feedback that you're like, oh, well, I know they, in this case, people were saying like it was slow and clunky or something. If you
Right.
as the developer know it's supposed to feel that way at the beginning, and then within 2 hours you don't feel that way anymore or something. I don't know, whatever.
Right.
As soon as you've leveled up, then maybe they just don't care about that feedback because they're like, nope, we got you there. Don't worry about it. Just trust us. But
Right.
otherwise, if they're taking feedback to heart, yeah, I feel like February 2020, like something early next year, just to get it kind of out of the way of everything else,
Yeah.
are my thoughts. But I mean, it could still come out this year.
It
Why not?
could. It could.
But they would have a
Early
short
summer.
marketing cycle at that point for like
Which I
marketing
feel
the
like
actual thing.
that this isn't the game that they could do that on. I
Yeah,
know a lot of people like and we'll get to that. With Animal Crossing are like, we haven't seen anything from Animal Crossing. They could literally say, hey, Animal Crossing is coming out in 2 weeks, and
yeah,
it would still sell 13 million units when it's all said and done. It does not matter when they announce Animal Crossing. It does not matter what Animal Crossing's date is. It will do fine.
yeah. Agreed. Absolutely agreed.
Which
Um,
I guess addresses Animal Crossing. We'll
yep.
probably hear about Animal Crossing, and it'll probably be whatever date. Doesn't really matter, to be honest with you. I know like people like on a gameplay end are like, but I don't want to start in winter or like whatever.
Mhm.
Maybe they care about that. I don't know. Maybe I mean specifically Nintendo. Maybe
Yeah.
Nintendo cares about that. I don't think they do.
Yep.
I think that whenever they think the game's ready, they're going to put the game out.
Yep. I don't think it's getting delayed personally.
Yeah, no.
But I mean, we also haven't gotten a specific date for it. So even if it was supposed to come out in the summer and they've delayed it internally, I think it's still coming out 2019
Mhm.
personally. And probably, I'd guess like, I don't know. I want to say like October or something. Yeah,
Yeah.
I'll say October. Seems reasonable. And yeah, but I do think they're going to spend a pretty long time on this game.
I swear, if they put out Animal Crossing in October and not Luigi's Mansion in
I,
October,
yep, I'm with you.
I'd be upset.
Yeah, apparently they mentioned this on the NVC podcast a couple of weeks ago, but apparently September in Japan is like ghost month, like the month
No, I don't care about that. They gotta put it out in October.
Halloween's way more important than Japan.
Yeah,
Get over it, guys.
way more important. How
But
dare
once they
you?
said that, I was like, okay, I'm down. If it comes out in September, then like I get it on that front. Because for
Then
them,
you know what? Delay it in America. Give it to Japan in September and give it to us in October,
yeah,
or I'm boycotting.
yeah. Well, we're definitely seeing Luigi's Mansion there because that's being demoed, so
Yeah, yeah.
that's good. Yeah, I don't know. I mean, it sounds like rumors are that it's coming out in September, so like I'll just go
How
with.
dare they? But yeah, Astral Chain.
Yep, Astral Chain.
I don't know if they're demoing that, but
I would
I
guess they
guess we'll
probably
see.
are. Like, it's real close to. It's coming out in August.
We talked about that game a lot, though. Like, we know a lot about that game
Yeah.
because they just straight up been like promoting it on social media. Like, we know
Well,
more about that game than probably any other game. Like, we probably know more about Astral Chain than we know about Fire Emblem, honestly.
yeah, it's possible. It's weird though because they've put out like lots of very little things, which
Mhm.
I mean is kind of the same with Fire Emblem, honestly.
Yeah,
Like they keep on putting out like, also, did you know blah blah blah? And it's like, no, I didn't.
true.
Thanks for
Like
telling me.
character bios and stuff.
Yeah, exactly. But it's like we haven't seen besides the initial trailer, we haven't seen much like in-depth full stuff for Astral Chains at the same time. So like
Mhm.
we've only seen a certain like a fairly small snippet of actual gameplay or whatever. So it would be fun to see more of that. But I feel like that'll probably be demoed, and they'll give. I don't know. Do they give like a full trailer for it? I bet they. I bet they put it in the sizzle
They
reel.
could. I don't know. I don't
Yeah.
know what the feeling is on this game generally.
Yeah.
Because like for me, like Astro Chain exists, and I'm like that's cool. I'll play it.
I've
It's
seen a
kind
lot
of
of
in the
people
same.
really
It's
nice
in the
about it.
same boat as Daemon X Machina, where it's like that looks cool. I'll play it. I don't really need to know more. I'll
Yeah.
play it. um. So
Yep. I think I could definitely see myself being more excited for Astral Chains than Daemon X Machina.
how
After
dare you?
I
How
played the
dare you?
demo,
Daemon X Machina is being developed by Legends, sir.
Legends, I tell you,
Yeah.
the restaurant chain.
How dare you? There's Fire Emblem artists working on this game and Armored Core people.
But yeah, so Astral Chains, it's coming out August. I think they're going to demo it, and honestly, because of that too, maybe they don't need to do so much.
Why do I keep calling it Astral Chains?
Was it Astral Chain singular?
It's one chain. Stupid.
Astral Chains. There you go. Change it. Deal with it. Next up,
Never going to be a Nintendo brand ambassador.
Elusive Age.
I'm mad you have the whole title in here. Whatever. Yep. I don't care.
I think sizzle reel and we get a date. September. Are you taking that? Guys, we have a document. AJ just took out the end of the whatever. That's fine.
Dragon Quest 2.
You weirdo. Man. All right. There we go. Dragon Quest. Yeah. Coming out things. We'll keep on moving. Town. What do you think? Do we not see it?
I don't know. Game Freak is weird.
They are weird.
They're weird. It's like because they talked about this a little bit in their little the interview that everybody was like, oh, Game Freaks canceling Pokemon, they hate it. Talon is going to be the new Pikachu.
Mm-hmm.
So I don't know, maybe they're far along on it and they don't sound like they want to delay it, so I guess they're going to come out with that, but if it doesn't come out before November, they're stupid.
Yeah, right.
Why would you ever put that out after Pokemon?
In
any world, even delaying it to next year to me makes zero sense. They got to come out with this game before Pokemon, or it's just vaporware.
Yep, for sure. Also, still called Town, called something different. What do you think?
Well, they said working title, so
yep. Although they said that about Project Octopath Traveler, and then now it's just called Octopath Traveler.
Exactly.
Project.
Exactly. And there's nothing else that they could take out.
Yep.
They're going to name it Ow. That's what the new name's going to be.
I think they're going to call it. They're going to call it Towny Town McTown Face. Right? It's the boat reference.
No, that's adding more. You can't add more. You gotta take steps.
Sorry, man. I've worked so hard on that. I've been staying up all night trying to think of what they'd call town. They'll just call it city. City. They just made.
We upgraded it. It's city now.
Yeah, I think we'll probably see that game, and it'll be I don't know, September or something. It's got to be right.
Yeah, they can't put it out after Pokemon. They can't do it. They cannot. They're not allowed.
They still might. They still might. But yeah, it would be a terrible decision. Speaking of Pokemon Sword and Shield. What do we see about that?
I think it's going to come out in November, maybe November 15th. I think that the legendary one's going to be one with a shield on his head. It's going to be real dumb. The other one's going to have a sword in his mouth. He's going to be cool. He's going to be like Zoro,
Yeah, just like Zoro.
He's going to be real cool. He's going to
you have really good predictions.
They're going to have giant Pokemon.
Did you used to work at Nintendo and then reveal something online?
I just got real mad,
There you go. Did you read all those leaked stuff?
Yeah, I read it before the thing.
No, I know. I didn't know if you saw it but didn't read it or actually.
No, I don't care about spoilers. Are you done?
Well,
a game's a game, you know what I mean? Yeah. I'm going to play it anyway.
Yeah, I also read the things, and yeah, I mean, it straight up looks like that person.
Yeah, 100%. That's the sort of thing that you see, and you're like, he's just trying to get attention, and then after the fact, where it's like, oh shoot, him.
True. Oh, you froze up. Where AJ at? There you go. You're back. You froze up for a second. You looked real silly.
Rip.
But yeah, Pokemon Sword Shield. Well, I don't even know. I thought maybe before this direct that we'd get one big feature about it that they'd announce there or whatever, like they did kind of with Let's Go with the Pokeball Plus at last year. I don't even know if we're going to get that, to be honest. I think it'll just be it might have a little teaser trailer or something, but it'll mostly be just
because with
Treehouse.
With Sun and Moon, they revealed the Battle Royal or whatever.
Have we gotten much before? Yeah, I guess we had gotten stuff probably in the direct before that.
Yeah. Before that, we got more info on like what the game was, and we got the starters and all that crap.
Yep.
So maybe we'll get like one other thing, maybe we'll
Yeah.
get like the Pokemon contest equivalent or whatever,
Yep.
in this game, or they'll talk about like Switch Online or whatever.
Mm-hmm. That's
Um,
what I was originally thinking, but then for some reason, after all this stuff that we got this last week, I was like, maybe we just won't. But I could still see it happening for sure. Get
yeah.
else. What do you think that something else is going to be?
I
I'll bet if you're.
I think that they're gonna reveal that we got another rival,
No.
and he's not a nice guy, but deep inside, he's a nice guy. Uh, he's gonna have the other Pokemon. That's
Mm-hmm.
right. And I think that he's gonna reveal a new mechanic
Nice.
of some sort, and it's
Yep.
probably gonna also be dumb, but who knows?
Good stuff. Link's Awakening.
I think Link's gonna wake up. This is gonna be the one.
Oh,
He
he's
wakes
been
up.
trying for so long.
Yeah,
Trying for 20 years.
30 years.
25 years. Goodness.
Been trying to wake up for so long, and now he's up. Stop hitting the snooze button.
I was a little surprised this one is going to be a demoed one. I don't know why. For some reason, I thought it was just going to be further out and that it wouldn't have a demo. But sure enough, there it is. It's got a
Is
demo.
this also? I mean, it wouldn't be the first time that they, literally, even on the same day, came out with a Pokemon game and a Zelda game. So
Also
like,
a November game at least.
yeah, it's like, is this another November game? Is this September?
I mean, I think September's looking a little. I've probably November, I'd guess. Like I mean, it's Zelda, even though it's like top down Zelda and all that stuff. Like
There's
it's
too much stuff on the end of the year.
Oh no, totally. They did not space it out well.
Yeah, no, they're just like, and they don't care because
Yeah.
they know that people are going to buy it anyway.
Yep. And honestly, I mean, it was kind of beneficial for not necessarily for all consumers, but for like third party developers who did smaller stuff, like getting the Resident Evils out and even though people didn't like love all the ports and all that stuff, but like getting a lot of those kinds of port type games just out without too much else in the way. Probably
Yeah,
in the long run, because also it gives those developers more confidence to be able to bring stuff to the Switch. So
true.
in a little bit. Yep. Last ones, I think Cadence of Hyrule and wait, did we get a date for Cadence of Hyrule?
I think we got like a rumored
Oh, okay.
situation. I don't think that they said exactly when the date would be.
Yep. I think Hollow Knight Silk Song.
I know nothing about this game because I still never even played the first one.
And I finally got Mitch to play it, and he's like played more of it now than I had. Like
Oh wow.
I hadn't 100%ed it by any means, but I did I did most of it. Like 100% of some of the easier stuff, not easier stuff, but like didn't go do some of the like optional bosses and stuff like that. Just because I just wanted to, I like the exploration aspect of it a lot. So I got, all of that, but he's like doing every single bit of it now. And I'm like, all right, glad you like it. But Hollow Knight Silk Song, long story short, is there was a character in the original one that they were going to make just a playable character in this.
That's the Hornet one, right?
Yes, exactly. And then instead they were like, never mind, we're just going to make a full new game with it. And so that's what this is. So they announced it on Valentine's Day. But I could see last year Hollow Knight was a shadow drop in E3 or in the Nintendo Direct for E3. And then they also had it in their Treehouse, which was extra like, they've got stuff going on, I guess, with Nintendo in that regard. So I feel like, I don't know, I could see it happening where this would just be their big push for it because lots of people are very excited. So
sure, why not?
Could see it happening. But those are all the known games that we know about. And now for the fun stuff that we don't know about. All right.
Smash Fighter.
Some Smash Fighters.
I hope
Yep.
that the long-running rumor, I don't care if it's ultimately true, the Dragon Quest Fighter and stuff like that. I don't care if they put them in the game. Just don't make them the next one. We got enough JRPG people for now. The last person that we got was a JRPG person. Give us Banjo, you cowards.
I think those are also my two guesses, is Erdrick and Banjo. And well, because we don't care about Erdrick, but in Japan, theoretically, they really do. So cool. That's good. But yeah, Banjo 100%. Well, especially because they really probably wouldn't care about Banjo at all. So to be able to offset that, where like instead of it being ones where it's like we kind of liked Incineroar, but they loved Incineroar, or that kind of thing. This is very polar on both sides. So
I'm
Banjo,
not even that big of a banjo fan. I just want more diversity. You know what I mean?
right? And it's just, I mean, yeah, diversity in playstyles and just the looks of it, and like it's just fun. Like he's a fun character to have in there, regardless of whether you care about the source material or not.
Right.
So yep.
Agreed.
Yeah, if it's not Banjo or
Goku.
cool, I love it. Yeah, okay, cool. And then when do you think? So yeah, when do you think those two would come out?
Joker came out. What did Joker come out in April?
Uh huh.
Joker was April.
Yep.
July. August at the latest.
Cool. Nice. I think. Yeah, I think probably Banjo, Shadow Drops, and Erdrick is
I
probably.
don't know if they're going to shadow drop. I don't know if they would do that.
Not maybe not Shadow Drop because of updates and stuff, but I
Yeah,
think, like comes out next week, that kind of a thing, like very very soon. Would
that
be.
would be dope. I
Yeah.
don't know if I believe that, but it would be dope.
I mostly think because of pacing, because if they're trying to be done by February, like we've got one of five of them, and so we've still, and like the amount of months that we have left is a lot fewer. So like, I could see it. That is all. All right, next up, do you think we'll see Retro's project, and if so, what is it?
I feel like we have to. We got to see something. They've been working for unless that thing got canceled,
Yeah,
which I don't like. I
I
don't
think
know, man. Like,
honestly, the thing that gives me the most confidence about anything retro about that is the Reggie.
yeah, that's true.
Like that thing, just the more I look at it, the fact that they tweeted it out, he covered it up, but like left just a little bit there, like it seems too on the nose to not be something. I
Yeah,
mean,
but I feel like retro does that stuff a lot, where like they'll come out and be like, "Hey, here's a banana," and
yeah,
I'm like, "Oh shoot, what does this mean?" Like they freaking make their Twitter account and they're like, "Oh, are they going to announce something?" And they're like, "No, we're not going to announce anything. Are you stupid? Us make games?
yeah.
You got problems?"
Mhm.
So like I don't know. Maybe we'll see it. I hope so. I hope that they didn't just sit there and twiddle their thumbs for the past 4 years.
Yeah, I think we'll see it. Yeah, just shot in the dark, and I don't think we'll have a release date at all. I don't think it'll be this year, because they know they've got ample time before Metroid Prime 4 comes out. Even though they're done with it, I think just this year might be kind of packed. So I think they'll maybe just say 2020 or something like
Mhm.
that. But it's also possible if it is 2020 that they could just wait and do it um, in like a September direct or something like that. At which point we wouldn't see it now.
Mhm.
So yeah, hard to say. Um, Probably Grand Fox or Star Fox. Grand Fox.
Grand Fox Star Pre.
That's I yeah. I think that situation probably was the somebody was talking. They figured out who that somebody was, and they shut them up.
Yeah.
Why we haven't gotten anything else? Like it seems like a small enough team that they'd be able to do that in any case. So
I don't know. I don't know how small retro is.
yeah,
But who knows, man?
knows. True indeed. All right, and then these two get talked about all the time. Metroid Prime 4, Metroid
We're
Prime.
not seeing Metroid Prime 4. Ain't no way.
I think the only way they would do it is if it was, I mean, not any kind of gameplay, but just some kind of cinematic type.
I don't know if they would do that. I don't know if they would do that. Maybe we hear the name, like they say, we're still working on Metroid Prime 4, but in the meantime, here's the trilogy.
Yep.
I think that that's possible. I
Mm,
don't think we see anything from it. I don't think we see a logo again. I don't think we see concept art. I don't think we see nothing like that. I think that they just want to be like, okay, it exists, but like it's not going to be done for a long time. So shut up.
Yep.
Here's the trilogy.
Yep. Yeah, I agree, and I think we see the trilogy. I'm just if we don't, we're just never going to talk about it again at this point. Like, it seems like, yeah, if we don't see it now, then they're just waiting to put it out shortly before Metroid Prime 4 comes out.
Yeah,
Which
I mean,
seems
it really
unforeseen,
just
but whatever.
it depends on like what their hopes are with it. Like, I don't know if they see this more as a thing to like use the hype of Metroid Prime 4 or to maintain the hype. You know, because like if it's a thing to like
Yeah.
maintain the hype, I could see them putting it out now.
Yeah.
But if it's a thing to like get people excited around when that comes out, then they're not
Mhm.
coming out this year.
Yeah, right. I think it would be. I mean, if I were them, it would be the smartest. I think to put it out now because it gives people ample time to play all of them and want something more by the time instead of being any kind of burnt out by the time it comes out. So
Right.
that stuff. But yeah, Metro Prime Trilogy HD, that would be diggity dope. Camelot, do you think we see anything from them? I think Mario Golf.
Yes. Mario Golf makes sense. I thought
Yep.
you were going to say Golden Sun. I don't
I would
understand.
love Golden Sun. I'm
Uh,
not even doing that to myself.
but yeah, Mario Golf, I think is going to happen.
Uh-huh.
I don't think there's been like a console release cycle that
Uh-huh.
hasn't gotten a Mario Golf. Like Wii U didn't get one, but 3DS did.
Yeah,
And we don't have the 3DS. So
true.
now we're going to get Mario Tennis on Switch.
Mm-hmm.
Maybe not this year, but maybe that's what I think that's probably what they're working on.
Yep. Speaking of 3DS, there was an Amazon. I'm skipping a little bit in our document,
Yeah.
but the Amazon leak thing that showed like placeholder things
Mhm.
for various games had one 3DS placeholder title.
Pokemon Gun. That's what it is.
The whole thing
Spoilers.
is gyroscopic, and you're just waving your 3DS around.
Yeah.
Got it.
But
Uh,
no, I don't know what that is.
yeah,
No.
all I can figure is a dual release of something like a
Yeah.
Sushi Striker or whatever.
Yeah.
But Sushi Striker was one that we knew about the 3DS version, and then they
Metroid
like
Prime Trilogy
so.
coming to 3DS also.
I can't think what it would be either, or like a collection of something. But I think it said it was Nintendo as the publisher for it.
Yeah.
I'm pretty sure. So like, yeah,
Yeah,
I
I don't know. I don't know what they would. Maybe that's where they're going to put Pokemon Snap.
mm,
They'll be like, all right, shut up. We got it. It's out.
yeah, man, I'm just trying to think what else could even go on there because at this point it wouldn't be worth putting something small like, and we've gotten all the Mario RPGs, I'm pretty sure. So like, but also it wouldn't be worth putting something big. So
Yeah, I feel like if they're going to do something, and that's the one thing that they're doing, I feel like it needs to be big,
yeah,
or at least
right,
like relatively. You
yep.
know.
I think it would be good, whatever the game is. I don't have any good ideas off the top of my head, but I think some kind of dual release
Mhm.
between. Oh, okay, I don't know if this would work, but I think it would. Um, Pikmin 1, 2, and 3 coming to Switch, and Pikmin 1 and 2 coming to
That would be
3DS.
so weird. That would be so weird. That would be so weird.
That's because I think functionally, like it would work. They'd be able to get it to run well enough, 1 and 2 at least, not 3, obviously. Um, and
I mean, maybe 3. They got other Wii U games on
I
there.
mean, yeah, they could just scale it back, and it's got the dual screen, so why not? So like,
Mm,
yeah, or just maybe just Pikmin 3. It's yeah, not 1 and 2, but yeah, just Pikmin 3 coming to Switch and 3DS, and that's the last 3DS game.
mhm.
I'm going with that. It's probably wrong.
Probably wrong, but like whatever,
Yeah,
dude.
why
I'm
not?
going with Pokemon Gun.
Yeah.
That's the one. That's the right
That's
one. It's not probably
so
wrong.
good.
It's
Absolutely.
definitely right.
Speaking of which, do you think we see anything Pikmin here?
No. I feel like Pikmin's probably done, but they're just like, whatever. Like, we're just gonna hold on to it until like nothing else happens.
Yep. I think so. We've seen a lot of rumors for Pikmin 3. I don't know if this is the time to talk about it though. I
Mhm.
think they'll probably save it for a different time.
It'll get buried. I feel like if they're gonna do Pikmin, like and announce that, it'll be
Mhm.
during like a September direct.
It would have had to been in the February direct and then come out this summer for it to really thrive.
Mhm.
Like, um, yeah,
It's too
but
much stuff.
yeah, for sure. Honestly, I think a lot of these like big things that are kind of like in the pipeline we sort of know about. I don't know how many of them. I think we'll be seeing not too much new stuff from Nintendo now.
Yeah, I
There's
feel
so
the
much
same way.
stuff already, but they've got a lot of big stuff that they're working on. But like, we'll probably see it at in the September Direct or something like that. So
Mm-hmm.
speaking of big stuff, do we think we'll see anything from Monolith Soft?
No.
Cool.
Maybe a Xenoblade Chronicles X port.
Yeah.
We've been
Okay, I
talking
can
about
see
that a
that.
lot. Possibly that, I guess.
That would be cool.
But I
I'd
don't know
definitely
if
be
we get
down with
anything
that.
new.
I think, they definitely have new project of some sort in the works. I don't know how far along they are with that, but I don't think this is the time to show it.
Mm-hmm.
Well, it's not that. I would love them to show it, but I just don't
Because
know.
I think the thought, the pervading thought
Mm-hmm.
is that they're working on the next Zelda thing, and I
Yes.
don't think we see the next Zelda thing until 2021.
Yeah. I I think I
Or
think
the
we see
next
it. I
big
think we
Zelda
see it
thing.
next year. Do you mean we actually see it, or see it
Like
released?
get it, like have
Okay.
it
Yeah.
on our Switch.
Yeah. I think there's a chance. Yeah. Yeah, I think so because their hype cycle for that's pretty long too, typically,
Yeah.
um, unless they want to change that up. But
It's
uh,
just rare for them to finish a Zelda game before they have at least 5 years to
yeah,
work on it.
right. So I think they would have more. If they're reusing any of the engine, that would be cool. And so that would save them some time. But honestly, I don't even know if they want to put them out that much sooner. Like to some degree, I hate to say this, but I almost like having a decent amount of time between them because it
I
makes
agree.
because it makes them feel more eventized
I
to some
feel
degree.
like that's too long.
Yeah,
Like
no,
3 years is fine. 2 years, I would say best the best time is 3 years. 2
yes,
years is probably a little bit too soon. But
yep,
the 4 or 5 to 6 for
yep.
Zelda is too long.
I think 2 years is good for like a sequel of
Mm,
some sort where it's like these are related. Like if we saw an Odyssey 2, 2 years would be great. Like that would be coming out now. This
right.
year. But I think that would be awesome. Uh, but I think something like Breath of the Wild 2 or whatever, where it's a whole new adventure in the same game engine, but it's like sort of a sequel, but it's also its own
Like a
whole adventure.
Majora's Mask sort of situation.
Yeah, I feel like 2 years is a bit short for that kind of thing for me personally, but I know lots of people don't feel that way and would love a new one every 20 minutes. Odyssey 2 or Odyssey DLC.
See, now here's the thing.
Yeah.
Here's the take. What if the style is Mario Odyssey for Mario Maker, and then
Mhm.
they're like Mario Odyssey DLC coming out? I don't think they're going to do Mario Odyssey 2 in the same year as Mario Maker. I think that is
Yeah, absolutely.
ridiculous.
Yeah.
But I could see them doing like a $20 DLC thing.
hmm I I just don't think they're going to do Mario Odyssey DLC personally. I just think it's been too long that I just don't see it happening anymore, but they could.
I
There's
just
nothing
don't know
stopping
what too long is
them.
because
Yeah,
like
no, exactly.
Pokken got DLC.
Yep. Yeah, the only difference with that is that it got DLC on like a new release of it, where it's like it's yeah,
Yeah,
helping
but
that
even
long.
then, it's still what 3 years removed or whatever.
Yeah. Oh, absolutely. And then last thing for unless you have any extra thoughts, but SNES games or any of those like retro games, that kind of stuff coming. Any of that.
Um, Nah, nah. I think if they're going to do like a, because I think that the like what everybody thinks is if like whenever Nintendo's going to do new hardware, it's going to be in a separate event. I think if they do something like that and it is a direct, we'll
Mm-hmm.
probably hear about stuff like that. That
Yep.
like a platform specific stuff rather than games. They're going to stop and talk about like an app sort of
Yep.
situation. I don't know if they'll do that.
Yeah. I would love for them to talk about new SNES games or whatever coming to the online service, but I I don't know. I think it's more likely to happen just on a whim 3 weeks later, kind of a thing.
Mhm,
I think it's going to happen still pretty soon, like within the next couple months, but I just don't. I don't think it's going to happen at E3
mhm.
personally. I don't know. We'll see. Um, oh yeah, but hardware, no hardware. I'm assuming.
Yeah, no hardware.
And then last thing, do you think they're going to announce anything during the treehouse?
Yeah, but it would be like smaller
So here's
stuff.
the thing: did they announce anything at the treehouse last year?
Yes. I don't remember what, but I know they did. They I mean, they always do. They always
Okay.
announce something.
because I definitely remember, Metroid 2D whatever it's called.
Metroid,
Samus Returns.
Samus Returns. Yeah,
I definitely remember that being in the treehouse 2 years ago, but last year during the treehouse, I just didn't remember seeing anything new.
I
But
think because most of it was Smash Brothers or Mario.
oh,
Yeah.
that could very well
But
be.
they did. I'm pretty sure, I'm like at least 80% sure that they announced something new. It was probably like a 3DS thing or something. But
Yeah,
they
yeah,
said something that we didn't know about in that
nice.
presentation or those streams.
Yep. Well, cool. So that's all the first party stuff. But I think probably this is the year that we get more third party stuff
Mhm.
comparatively. Where I remember last year I was watching most of the third party presentations and being like, "Oh, that game, that's cool." Switch? No, no Switch. Okay.
I feel like
Really?
I mean, each year we get more because
Yeah.
like the first year was like barely anybody said Switch if it wasn't on Nintendo's thing.
Yeah.
And then the year after that, like or last year, we got at least one Switch announcement and all the third party stuff.
Yeah.
I think we'll
That's
get
true.
more
Yep.
this year.
Yeah. So first thing, Xbox and Nintendo Switch, or
Yes.
just Microsoft, and what do we think is going to happen there?
I don't know who's going to do it where.
Yep.
I don't
I
know if
think
Doug Bowser's going
both.
to walk out on Xbox stage and say, "Hey,
Mm,
we're announcing Banjo because we did it first, and it's
mhm.
coming to Xbox and Switch." I don't know if they'll do it there or if
Mhm.
freaking Phil Spencer will appear and he's going to host the entire Nintendo Direct.
He'll just pretend to be speaking Japanese the whole
Yeah,
time. I love it. Oh, I meant
he'll be Miyamoto's translator.
there you go. Perfect. Do you think we see Doug Bowser in the direct?
Yes.
I think we do. Am hoping for it because
Yeah.
like this is his opportunity. We haven't seen Furukawa talk in like anything.
I don't think we'll see him.
Yeah.
I think that that's definitely not his thing.
Yeah.
Uh,
Which is sad.
I
I would
think
love to
he
have
like
more of an
I
Iwata type situation there, but
yeah, I think they more so like he more so delegates that to like Koizumi and like,
yeah, right.
But I think Doug Bowser likes that side of it, Like I
Mhm.
think he likes being public facing in that regard,
Yep.
like engaging with the fan base and stuff like that.
Mhm. Yeah, I mean, I think we see him in the direct at some point doing probably announcing something just fairly unrelated.
Mhm.
But whatever, he's going to be there, so it'll be neat. But yeah, so Xbox and Nintendo. Do you think that okay, we'll do it this way. Do you think Nintendo shows up in the Microsoft press conference?
I don't know. That's what I'm saying. I don't know who's going to be where. I think that they're going to have some sort of announcement that
Yep.
has to do with each other, but
Yep.
I don't know where they're going to do that.
Yep. I think somehow the
Maybe
thing is it
both.
benefits yeah, I think both probably, but the thing is it benefits Nintendo in the, like, obvious way more than it benefits, Microsoft in the back end more so, where,
Yeah,
like,
it
they're
it,
getting
it
money.
benefits. It's less business related
Mhm.
for Nintendo than it
Yep.
is for Microsoft. Because for Nintendo, I mean, obviously it's business related for them too, but like for Microsoft, it's like market penetration,
Yeah.
like whereas for Nintendo, it's like more games, more money.
Yep. So that's the thing is, like, it's an easier presentation from Nintendo's side, but I think Microsoft is the one that's, like, also probably not pushing it more, but kind of like they probably initiated the conversation to where
Yeah, I
I
mean,
think
they're
they would
definitely
want
the
to do
ones that's
something.
like pushing the narrative of like better together, like that
Mhm.
whole thing. And Nintendo's like, yeah, sure.
Yeah, right. So, but that's the thing where like that would just be a little bit of a weird sell from the Microsoft press conference is like, and now you can like play this stuff on your Switch. Like
Yeah,
it's not that I couldn't see it happening, but like I can't quite visualize what they would present that would be benefiting their Xbox, you know, and Microsoft consumer base
mhm,
there.
yeah,
Not to say they wouldn't do it anyway, but I think they would want to present something. So, I maybe Banjo
yeah. I
is
feel like
that.
maybe if it was at Microsoft's thing, that
Hmm.
they would promote that ahead of time. So it's like, hey, Nintendo fans, maybe you want to check out our
Mm,
conference.
yeah,
Um, So maybe that's something, you know?
Yeah. I mean, because they did mention the thing we talked about on the Wolf Den with like something we brought like different guests or
Yeah,
however they worded it. That made it
right.
sound like
That's
probably
true.
or whatever.
That's true.
Um, so, and I think like, yeah, I don't know. I'm just very curious, but no matter what, I think we're gonna see something. It sounds like Ori and the Blind Forest or Ori and the Will of the Wisps, whichever one is
Mhm.
going to be coming at some point. And yeah, I mean, like probably Banjo and Smash and Games Pass. I guess I could see that. I think Game Pass would be in probably in the Nintendo Direct.
I don't know, man. I don't know.
It's so tricky, like because it's kind of just new territory. Like we haven't
Yeah.
had this situation happen before, so like, and even
Because I feel
if there
like
had been
with
precedent, they could
Microsoft,
just break the
a lot of their conference, from what people are saying about it, it
precedent.
seems like they're focusing a lot on like xCloud. So
Right.
I could see them also rolling that into talk about
Yes, that's a good
Games Pass.
point.
So like if that is a big portion of their conference, and obviously like their thing's going to be longer. Like Nintendo's is going to be
Yeah.
like under an hour, and
Mhm.
Microsoft's is going to be like 2-3 hours.
Yeah.
So I could see them getting more in the minutia of services than Nintendo would. You
Hmm.
know.
Yeah. Yeah. So I think we're gonna see the fruits of that happen here in any case. So there we go. There's that. It could be a whole lot of fun. This is another one that was like very rumored for a while, but especially recently. Witcher 3. Do
Yeah.
we see that coming to Switch?
Eh, sure, why not? I guess.
Yeah. I
I mean, it would be a good thing to announce, you know.
mhm,
We're going to see Cyberpunk 2077, so they're like, "Hey, this isn't coming to Switch, but we do have something for you," you
mhm.
know, like a
Eh,
Borderlands 3 situation where it's like, "It's probably not going to come, but we can hook you up with something."
Yep. I mean, the thing is, like, part of me wants to say, if nothing else, if technically it's going to be an issue, they could just do it through Game Pass.
Mhm.
But then we wouldn't have all the physical stuff for it. So like that wouldn't make any sense. The other thing I've thought about is like, oh, if they're doing a Switch Pro or whatever, then it's part of that. But like,
Yeah.
I don't think uh, I don't think we'll have games that are exclusive to that anyway. So that doesn't make any sense either.
I
Like,
mean, we might.
yeah, it's. I mean, it's
I mean, it
possible.
wouldn't super surprise me for a third party to do that. I couldn't see Nintendo doing it, but I wouldn't be so like very surprised if a third party said like,
Yep.
"Yeah, like we'll give that to you." You know, like
Hmm.
at least hardware wise, like I could see them do like a cloud situation for everybody else,
Yep.
maybe,
Yeah. Right.
and then do Switch Pro only for native. You
Yep.
know,
Yeah. It could definitely happen. I mean, I think the only question about it is just the technical side. Like, if they can get it to work, I think it's coming over. Like,
Mhm.
it sounds like in any case, and like it, why not at the same point? So that's just really the only question is the
I
technical
mean,
stuff. I
just
don't know.
based on like the potato builds that some people have, and like the
Right.
like, there's footage of like Witcher 3 playing, and it doesn't look like Witcher 3, you know, in the way that most people think of it.
Uh
But it's
huh.
Witcher 3
Yeah, I
ultimately.
mean, I watched the
So
Digital Foundry video where they were doing that, and it was like, honestly, even the like bad looking Witcher 3 with like low poly count and stuff, and it was down to like 500 some p or whatever. Honestly, there's times here and there that Xenoblade Chronicles 2 gets down to like 400p. It's more of a glitch than it is a like, but
like a necessity, yeah.
yeah, but so it's, I mean, that's a thing. But if they've optimized it, like I could see it happening. And like honestly, it still looked, again, yeah, you're right. It didn't look like Witcher 3 as we know and love it or whatever. I haven't played it,
Yeah.
so
I mean, I just say that in the sense that I don't think it's gonna look like that on Switch, but I
yeah.
think that their game is scalable enough to get
Hmm.
it on there if they actually wanted to. I
Yeah.
think, and that's the biggest thing for most games where it's like, is this possible? I don't
Hmm.
know if that's the question that we should be asking. It's, is that something that the developer would be okay with their game looking like?
Yep.
Or
Yes.
running like, even if
Yep.
that's what they prioritize as the visuals or whatever, and then it just runs
Hmm.
bad or whatever. Um, you know, whatever.
Yep.
I'm like indifferent to that. Like post 360, I feel like we're good. You know, like
Yeah.
since 360, there hasn't been a game that I'm like that at least is on par with that aesthetic that I'm
Right.
like,
Yeah.
this looks the worst. Like, I think people really exaggerate that when people are like, this looks gross. It looks like a 360 game. It's like, yeah, but
Yep.
like you were drilling about that before.
Agreed. No, and there's plenty of games where like even I think our standards are just higher now that we know numbers about things or whatever. Like when there's a lot of things where like if you just don't know the numbers behind something, you don't really care about it. Like
Right. And
games or other.
that's what I think is like the pretentious part.
Yes.
Because like somebody will see a game and be like, oh, this looks great. And then I'm like, oh, it runs at 900p. And then people are like, what? This is an outrage. Or whatever.
Yeah.
It's like, dude, before you heard that number, you thought it looked amazing.
Yeah.
So like, shut up.
That's yeah. I mean, honestly, even like I love playing Mario 64, and as a kid, I could not tell the fact that like, oh, it's down to like 10 frames a second here and
Yeah.
there, and like it just happens. It's just part of the game.
Right.
And like it used to be that playing some NES games like the what's jitter or whatever they call it, with some of those where like it slow down. I was just called slow.
Yeah. Slow down.
Like, that's just
That's like, it's so crazy because like now that it has this like I would call it like it's more or less a different marketing term sort of situation, even though it's more literal. Now it's frame rate drops.
yeah.
Slow down, that was fine. Frame rate drops, unacceptable.
Yeah.
Like it's just wild. It's like,
Yep.
I don't know, it's weird.
Yeah, no, I'm with you. So, let's run through some of these so we can hit some of the other stuff too. But all right, Watch Dogs Legions, we know, or Watch Dogs Legion, we know it's coming. It's Ubisoft. They put Watch Dogs on the Wii U. Do we think it's coming to the Switch?
I don't know. We don't know enough about that game for
Yep.
me to say one way or another.
I think
Possibly. I think Ubisoft likes Nintendo enough to try to do something.
Yeah.
Like if they don't do that, maybe we'll get whatever Assassin's Creed game.
Yep.
After, like that sort of situation.
Yeah. I think I'm gonna go
Technically,
out
we
on
have
a limb.
two right now.
Hmm?
I said because technically there's two on Switch.
That's kind of.
There's Odyssey in Japan,
Yep.
and then there's the 3 remaster or whatever.
Yep. I think this is I'm gonna go out on a limb and say I think this is gonna be one of those things where it's frustrating, but they don't do it anyway, even though it's like
It wouldn't frustrate me. I don't really care one way or the other.
Yeah.
I have multiple consoles that can play this game, and
Yeah.
I don't really care to play it.
I think for me, these kinds of things are more just frustrating where it's like something about it feels I know it's not, I don't know, where it just feels like that customer base just isn't worth that effort, even though, where which is like, I'm sure they have better reasons than that. Like it's not worth the investment to do this thing. Like it's just cost benefit analysis, but still like there's a part of me that feels like it's saying that as Switch players were, or Nintendo players were lesser than in some way, which is just frustrating, but nevertheless, that's the thing. Here's more just okay. So instead of going through these were just some guesses of things that I think might be coming this year. Biomutant, maybe coming to Switch.
We heard a lot of rumors about that.
Yep. Spyro, I think, yeah.
Yes, definitely. That's going to come at some point. I don't know if we'll see it at E3, but
yep, I think we'll just see it at E3 because why not? I just total guess Fallout 3 remastered in
that's another thing that we heard rumors about. So maybe.
So, and I think the thing with that, last year they didn't do any of that stuff, probably just because of Fallout 76. But like now that that's kind of out of the way, might as well.
Also, maybe they want to rebuild goodwill.
Yeah, exactly. So people would be kind of happy with that. I think in Square Enix conference, we're going to see Bravely Default 1 and 2, and maybe an announcement for Bravely Default 3.
That'd be cool.
Yep, and then also maybe Nier Automata's coming to Switch. Rumors about that, so I can see that happening. And then this one's just a complete wild guess. / there were some possible teases about it earlier, but I think it's about time for a Monster Hunter for Switch specifically. I could see that happening. So not Monster Hunter World, but like specifically a Switch Monster Hunter game. Those are my guesses. Got anything else?
Nope.
Cool. Now that we spent a million years on that,
Stadia exists.
Stadia, it sure does. We won't even
Uh,
spend all that long in here.
whatever, dude. $10 a month, and that's kind of nebulous. We don't know full details about that. They're kind of talking around it. We don't know if that includes whatever games or whatever. If we got to buy games a la carte,
Yep.
blah blah.
We're
Yeah,
talking about pricing. They didn't go into very many specifics on that front. Like,
yeah, they're kind of cagey about that.
yeah, which means probably it's the less good option, I would guess.
Which I feel like that is, I don't know, it could go either way because
Yeah.
Google's a smart company. So
Yeah.
I feel like the smarter thing to do would be like,
Save it for a big good reveal.
or not even that, like just what you assume would be the better deal is the one that they're going to go with, you
Yeah.
know. But
True.
who knows? Who
Yep.
knows?
Yeah. Google Stadia.
$129 for the bundle that they got. You get a controller, you get a Chromecast Deluxe, you get a
I called
freaking
it Deluxe because I couldn't remember what it
yeah,
was
it's
actually
not
called.
called that. It's
Like
called
Chromecast Pro or
Chromecast
something.
Chromecast Ultra, I think is what it's
Oh,
called.
you're right. That's what it is.
Which I do have a question about that. I don't know. Like, do you need a Chromecast? Like, if you don't have a
I think it's
4K
4K.
TV or whatever, yeah. That's what I'm saying. So,
Yep.
like, could you just have a straight up Chromecast if all you want is 1080p 60 or whatever?
I think so. It sounds like it. So, I mean, a lot of this stuff, that's the thing is like they're selling this stuff, but like it's super optional because you can also use, they've said before, you can use any controller.
Mhm.
So, like, you could just use that and then something else. And then,
That this bundle just specifically is like the best way to play it.
yeah. And I think honestly, the biggest benefit is just the being able to play it early thing. Like,
Mhm.
that's why they they put this one out in November, and then the 2020 is going to be when it'll launch for free because otherwise people will just get it for free and not even
Right.
bother with this stuff.
Yeah.
So this way, at least they know they're going to get some sales. So, but yeah, that's the thing. But yeah, let's hear what you guys had to say. We'll go through my video real quick, talk about that, because you guys said some things. I talked about Link's Awakening, and it was a whole lot of fun. I also don't know what our timestamp is at, how long we've been going. I don't want to go too crazy long, but
I mean, we're about normal. It's like
cool.
a little under 2 hours right now.
So here we go. So yeah, here's some comments. Laughing Man 91. That's probably the year you were born, which is the year I was born. Congratulations for being born and laughing. He says the one thing they could do to get me to pay double retail price, have the whole game with the original soundtrack and the new tunes mixed into the old style is necessary. I played Link's Awakening DX as a kid, and to be honest, I still remember the dungeons, the curious character, the tunes, the mystery, and all the rest. I'd pay full price just to replay the game on a new console on my TV. Ballad of the Windfish was so hauntingly beautiful and is a top 3 standout moment for me in my game music or in-game music. But maybe I was an impressionable kid with a ton of imagination. LOL.
He's laughing again.
True. What a
I don't know. I don't like the thing where he said double retail price because that's inaccurate,
yeah. But I mean, I am curious with the soundtrack because if I remember right, the trailer, it was kind of like Yoshi's Crafted World kind of style of music, wasn't it? I'm pretty
I
sure it
don't
was
remember.
like with
Oh
like
yeah.
because
Well,
you
no, I don't remember. I got that confused for a second. I got it confused with Cadence of Hyrule. So I don't know. I don't know if I'm conflicting those in my head.
mm-hmm.
So I don't remember what the soundtrack sounded like in that. But I
So
don't
that's
know.
the one thing. I'm curious what that'll turn out like because I know a lot of people really didn't like the Yoshi's Crafted World
Yeah.
soundtrack. So and that's I mean like Zelda often just has very beautiful soundtracks.
Mhm.
So maybe it was just for the trailer that they had that version, or maybe the whole game is, like kid toy instrument type soundtrack, which if so, I think would be a little bit disappointing just because usually their soundtracks are pretty good. So
Yeah.
we'll see there. But I mean, yeah. I mean you're not gonna have to pay double, so there you go. Bonuses for that.
Yeah. Luckily, you don't gotta pay double.
But
Yeah.
yeah, it's a great game. It's been a long time since I played it to be honest, so I've forgotten a lot of things about it. So I'm excited to
I never played it all the way through, so I'm down.
nice. I know I played it and beat it, but I definitely wasn't at the point where I was like 100%ing stuff yet. Then I was
Mhm.
probably like 9 when I
I'm still not at that point.
yeah, that's just what I like to do. Tyler IA says it would be cool to switch between the original and remake or unlocking the original Game Boy version after beating it. I wouldn't mind a gallery of original artwork too.
That would be dope, and that would make this more like a, like a uh, Crash Insane trilogy sort of deal,
Mm,
where it's like an homage to the franchise and stuff like
yep.
that. More like Halo. I would say Halo, like the
Mm,
Halo remasters and stuff like that. That's kind of what they do, where it's like
yep.
you can play this and switch it between the art styles whenever. Or Dan's favorite game,
Wonder Boy. I was gonna say,
Dan
yeah, that one.
Dan's real dumb. But it does that in that game too, where you can change between the art styles whenever you want.
That would be, yes. I think
That'd be
that would
dope.
be really fun because it would give people the opportunity to experience the original game just right there as well, which
Right.
for a lot of people will be nostalgic, for some people will be informative and educational, and overall would just be great. Eric Henley says, I would pay the $60 because I've never played it, so it's a brand new game to me. I've had no issue with the remake / ports on the Switch because I haven't played any of them. My last Nintendo console was N64 late in its life cycle. I had a 3DS but sold it after a few months.
Yeah, and I think that that's what these ports are for. It's
Yep.
people like Eric, because that for all intents and purposes is most people.
Yeah, right.
Because like after SNES, Nintendo, as far as home consoles go, their sales kind of fell off a cliff.
Mm-hmm.
With the exception of the Wii, obviously. But
Yep.
even the Wii, I wouldn't say had a lot of the games that are like the tent poles. Like they didn't have a Pokemon game on the Wii. That was like an
Right.
actual Pokemon game.
Yeah.
Which became a tentpole thing for them post SNES
Mm,
era, obviously.
right.
So yeah, I think it makes a lot of sense for them to like take the biggest and best versions or latest versions of the games that they've made, rather than either leaving people in the dark for a couple years or rushing out the next thing.
Mm-hmm.
To be like, hey, 2 million people played this game or less.
Yeah.
Let's get the other 20 plus million that could potentially buy this thing.
Mm-hmm. I think the thing that's tricky with this one specifically, and similarly with Let's Go Pikachu and Eevee, is the fact that it was a Game Boy game, and so I think to some people that feels like it's not going to be enough of game, in that
Yeah.
sense. Where like I know that's so yeah, that's my friend Mitch's issue for the most part, where he's just like, I don't know, it's like it's just a Game Boy game, so is it really worth? I mean, it's got better visuals and stuff now, but is it really worth me
But I
playing?
feel
Played it
I
before,
feel like that's most of what separates them, right? Like that makes them feel like a
Mhm,
thing that is like, oh, this is worth more because the visuals are better and the music's
right.
better and the like the
I
controls
think
feel better.
it's a question of scale to some degree, where
Yeah.
like, is it, are Game Boy games a small world or whatever? Which I don't think is exclusively true. So
Right. Yeah. Because from what we saw when we first heard about the game or whatever, what they said, how long to beat is like over,
17,
yeah, like
15
it's like
hours,
over
something like that.
15 hours.
Yeah,
That is a $60 game if I ever heard of one,
yeah,
you know,
uh-huh.
especially with all the additional work done to the graphics and stuff like
Yeah,
that.
right, right,
Like
exactly.
I think that's where a lot of the cost cutting happens. Is not the scope, or not scope, not the like the visual like flourishes and like all that stuff. Where a lot of the real production goes.
Hmm.
Like writing a long game is not going to cost you as much as like developing these like high quality textures and
Yep.
models and all that stuff. That's where the real work goes. So that's where a lot of the cost is going to go.
Hmm.
And the fact that they're doing that obviously from scratch
Yep.
says to me that like it's a full game. It's worth $60
Yep.
because it's a
It would
game
be
on the
cool.
Switch.
I mean, I gave ideas obviously in the video. That was the whole point of it. But it would be cool if they added stuff to it too, just because, just because it would be fun.
I mean, I
But
feel like
if
we
they
already know that
have
they're
the same
doing that
vibe,
too. Like they're consolidating. Like before, you couldn't equip a certain amount of items at once, and
mm,
now they're showing that you can do that.
yep.
So even just that, based off the 2-minute trailer that we already got, we know that they're adding more to it. It's just a
Hmm.
question of like how much more than that.
Yeah, for sure. And last comment that we're reading today, William E says it should include optional sword skills like in Minish Cap and Twilight Princess.
Uh,
I agree.
yes.
I mean, again, it'd be cool if it did. I wouldn't be mad if it doesn't, but like
Mhm.
I just like that kind of stuff where there's different ways to go about like I was mentioned Mitch played Hollow Knight, and
Mhm.
he was talking about, I think there's like you can get different skills or power up type things, and a lot of them are necessary because it's Metroidvania. But then there's some of them, like there's a spin attack kind of thing that I'm pretty sure I never got or I never used. But
Mhm.
in any case, it's obviously optional at that point, and that kind of thing is just fun. Where it's like he uses it a lot, I never used it, but like it's just kind of play it how you like to. So those kinds of things are fun. And like there were some things in Twilight Princess that when I was playing through it too, like I didn't know there was any kind of gyro in the nunchuck,
Mhm.
and one of the things was like a shield bash where
Yeah.
yeah, you bash them back with your shield and then you hit them. And it was like, move the nunchuck forward. And I did not understand because I didn't try to like actually physically move it because my brain was like, well, it doesn't have anything in there, so I'm not going to
Yeah.
do that.
I
It
mean,
just
the nunchuck definitely doesn't feel like it has
no,
real shit
yeah.
in it. So
It
yeah, I
it
can
feels
understand.
like this cheap piece of plastic, but
Yeah.
sure enough, it's got stuff. So
It's got stuff. But yeah, I think after Breath of the Wild, it would make a lot of sense for them to add stuff like that
yeah.
for those moments of emergent gameplay.
Hmm.
So yeah, I could see them doing that. You know.
Yep. It'd be real fun. Yeah. I think my favorite idea of mine from the video is some kind of is a shovel to find hit. I actually you might have a shovel item. I know you do in some Zelda games, but um, man, now I just want to check. No, if there was one in Link's Awakening, people definitely would have corrected me in the
I
comments.
picked two. I played two games that have shovels: Shovel Knight and Goof Troop. That's it.
I am looking up which Zelda game.
Zelda shovel item.
Yep, because I want to be smart and not dumb. Okay, so in Link to the Past, oh, it is
Well,
okay. In Link's Awakening, yeah, you get a shovel, but it's needed to dig up one item, and otherwise it looks like it's just optional stuff. Um, but okay, and it was also in Oracle of Seasons and stuff. I think that's where I'm mostly remembering it from. But in any case, I think that would be fun if there was just like more secrets and stuff. Using the HD Rumble bits would just be cool,
yeah.
is what I think. So that's all the thoughts on my video. But now we get to the part of the conversation where we go to questions that you asked. And we're trying to make sure that y'all go and hang out in the Discord and talk to us, partly because it's fun and mostly because it's fun.
Yes.
That is all. All right. First question we got from Patar. Hello, Patar. Bone in wings all the way. Not even close. If I wanted boneless, then I'd order chicken nuggets. Which character in Smash Ultimate would you want to hang out with most IRL?
Okay, first of all, going forwards this time, McNuggets are garbage. Unrelated from the boneless part. McNuggets specifically, garbage. Fight me. Uh, I agree with the rest of that part though. As far as the character in Smash that most want to hang, Ivysaur. Ivysaur.
Mm,
I would say Charizard, but in Smash Bros. Ultimate, he's garbage. So
mm.
Ivysaur.
Man, in that case, I can't not say Squirtle. Yeah, I'm gonna say
You
I feel like
cannot say Squirtle. Of course you can, because
no,
he's
but I mean
also
like
not very good.
now that I thought about Squirtle as being like, yeah,
Yeah, having a Squirtle is fine.
man, I'll so it definitely is Squirtle, but then
Just make
second
sure he
to
stays Squirtle and doesn't turn into the thing with the PVC pipes on his back.
that, love
Um,
Squirtle. He's my favorite. I mean, Squirtle is more my favorite than Blastoise is, but I still
Same.
love Blastoise.
Yeah, I think usually I like if given the choice, I evolve it to War Turtle. I'm like, all right, you can't go any further.
Yeah, Wartortle's also very cool. I also happen to like Blastoise though a
I
lot,
don't
so
like that.
get out of here is what I have to say about that. Lizard, what's up? Okay, be honest. What Pokemon you sleeping with, Parker? There's no pair Pokemon.
That's inappropriate.
I still don't know a ton about how this thing even works. If I'm being honest, like I didn't look into it all that much. So if you know any more than I do, which I don't think there's that much that we know about it.
As far as I know, you put the Pokemon thing near your face,
Mm-hmm.
probably under your pillow,
Mm-hmm.
in your sleep, and it gives you rewards of some kind. Um,
So
I don't know, maybe Snorlax because he can relate to
yeah,
the sleeping. You
true.
know,
I mean,
not
once again,
not Darkrai because that would be bad,
yeah.
and not
You know,
Muna or Muna's evolved form that I can't remember the name of right now. because that could also be bad.
True.
Or maybe not, because they keep away nightmares and whatnot.
I was just thinking Hypno would be bad for the obvious reasons because
That's
he's
also true.
a creepy creepertons.
That's also true.
Darkoog, hello.
Hi.
For the new Pokemon Sleep, do you think they could release plushies you can buy and put the tracker in? Do you think Nintendo is going to release the Switch Mini this year, or maybe they won't release it at all? And what do you think the price range will be?
I think that would be a cool idea if they did the plushies thing.
Yep.
Or maybe they just straight up make all their plushies that, where it's like it has like a place to put the Pokemon thing. That would be cool, I guess. And maybe even do like package deals, but I feel like that's too many SKUs for them to be like, hey, here's all 912 Pokemon.
Yep.
That's not how many there are right now. Here's all 912 Pokemon. And they also come with this Pokeball thing.
Yep.
It's way too many SKUs for them to make.
Yeah. I mean, that's just a tricky thing for them in general. I feel like there's just so many Pokemon to be able to make actual stuff for all of them of any substance.
Yeah.
Like they really can only have one or two lines of things that have every single Pokemon, I feel like, and because some of those are just going to go almost completely unsold. Like they're going to sell 3 Mucks and that's it.
I mean, unless they inventize them like they're doing with the plushies now, where
That's true.
right now they're selling the full, or they're on pre-order, I think, for Gen 2.
Gotcha.
You could buy all of them. I think buying all of them is like $1,600 or something like that. But I mean, somebody want to do it.
Yeah, no, definitely.
Nintendo,
I mean, that's
true.
I got, actually a lot of
space. I got space. Good thing. Nice. Hit me up. So hit me up.
Yeah. The other questions that you asked, Darkoog, do you think Nintendo's going to release the Switch Mini this year, or maybe they won't release it at all, and what the price range will be? Yes.
I don't know. I don't know for sure if they'll do it this year. It could be this year. I don't know. New 3DS was also after E3. So
I think it'll be this year. I think they're going to announce it early July. Probably.
Yeah, I can see
that.
And
then it's going to come out September.
Price point? I don't know. No more than 250.
Yeah. I feel like
ideally 200 would be the best price point for them to do.
Was the 3DS when it first came out was 190? Is that right?
You're talking about like when it first came
out. 250. Oh, that's right. Never mind.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
No wonder. And then at some point they brought it down.
Yeah, it was like 160.
160. Okay. So, I mean, if it was 160, they're not afraid to do weird numbers. Like I could see them doing like 220 or something like that. Like I think 250 is too high. It also depends what is included in the package. I could see them doing like maybe 2 different SKUs, one that has some kind of
I think it depends on,
and one that just doesn't at all.
I think it depends on how they market it, because if they do market it as this is a handheld, like this is a Switch but not a Switch, it's the Switch that can't switch. If they market it like that, then it's going to have to be 200 at most. But if it is this thing of like it's another Switch, or it's a Switch that you can like, it's a Switch but cheaper, if they do it like that, then they can do 250.
Yeah.
So it really just depends on how they
even then 250 I feel like is probably, I mean, you're right, they could. I feel like 250
I think 250 has all like looking at the Wii, right? Like that has always been like the sweet spot of like, once you get around that price point for a even relatively successful console, that's when it really starts flying off the shelves around that price point. And 100, that's the holy grail, but they're not doing that.
Oh yeah. I think at some point too, later down the road, we'll see probably, I'm buying into the rhetoric of we won't see a Switch Pro that's a separate SKU, but we'll see the Switch get just an internal slight upgrade to where it'll be like just a slightly better running Switch that does more or less the same things, but it's just like it's a little bit
better. A better thing, brighter screen, thinner, like smaller bezels, or stuff.
That kind of stuff. Yeah, exactly. To where the old Switch just goes away entirely. Grimhane, what's up, Grimhane? What E3 game announcement were you hyped for, which ended up being a disappointment? Any E3 and any game, no limits. Conversely, what E3 game were you least hyped for and it ended up surprising you? Same rules. I'm trying to. I mean, and no, I was gonna say Metroid Prime 4 is an easy one for a lot of people,
No, that's not. That is
but it's
not.
not. I mean, not in the actual game that came out, obviously, because it hasn't. Man,
Um, hmm, that's a
I'll
tough one.
also give the caveat of, like I said, I've only been paying attention to E3
How dare you?
2 years, and I just wasn't in this sphere
How dare you?
prior to that because
How
I was
dare you?
just dumb. It
True.
is funny that there was I used to listen to the Stuff You Should Know podcast,
Mhm.
and they put out a Nintendo Stuff You Should Know podcast that was right before E3 2016, which was like Nintendo's lowest point, I feel like, where it's like everything's the worst, nothing's good ever. And then
Oh, maybe that's it. Star Fox. Star Fox was like the thing that I
mm,
was like excited
yep,
for. I was like, yo, this is gonna be there. Even though like ultimately, like I think Star Fox Zero is fine for what it is.
mhm,
But just like Pokemon, I think Star Fox, even beyond the whole thing of like what everybody else wants Star Fox to be, or what like the current Star Fox fans want Star Fox to be.
mhm,
Um, like Star Fox Zero was like a thing of like, oh, it's another one of these. So that's probably the one that like I was the most disappointed in what
yep,
it ended up being.
yep,
And that was recently. That was like what, E3 2015,
yeah.
2014? One of those.
2014, I think, maybe
Yeah, one of those two.
something like that. I Man, I think I'll have to rain check on that because I truly don't know. Honestly, maybe Xenoblade on the other side, where when I first kind of was seeing stuff about it, I was like, when I first saw the treehouse stuff and the combat and how it worked, I was like, oh, I don't really care about this at all. Like that seems kind of boring and dumb. But then the more I saw about it, the more I was like, okay, okay, I see you. And then I ended up playing. I was like, no, this is great. I love it.
On the other side, Bloodborne. Because I didn't
Mm-hmm.
care even a little bit about Bloodborne when they announced it.
Yeah.
And then I heard because that's usually how I play, like like the third party, or the like other console manufacturer games is like I
Mhm.
hear a lot of people talking about it,
Yeah.
and then I get curious, and then I buy Red Dead and play it for 3 hours. But for Bloodborne, that game stuck, and I was like, "Yo, this game's dope,
Yep.
top 10 game, period."
Nice.
So yeah, Bloodborne, easy.
Mhm. Good question. I didn't answer half of it, but I just don't have an answer off the top of my head. So we'll move on. And if I come up with something, I'll come back to it. Wolfden, Bob, how do I get PS4 games but not pay for them? The Comcast guy just asked me this.
Start a YouTube channel. Uh,
Well, good point.
make it about PlayStation.
There you go.
Um,
Grimhane again. What's up? You switch from Comcast because they're crap.
expertise.
Yeah, bad. That's how. And what is the first E3 you can remember being excited after?
The first one I watched. What? Probably Reggie's first one, 2004 or whatever. That was
Yep.
probably around the time that I started watching E3 regularly.
Uh-huh. My answer is boring because it's probably 2017. Even then, like I was a little bit disappointed after it, just because I don't know. There's something pacing wise just wasn't like it was. It had a lot of great announcements. Like when I went back and looked at it, I was like, oh wow, this was great. But something during the pacing itself was like a little bit off, um, to where during it I was a bit disappointed. But like, yeah, looking at all the announcements, I was like, yeah, this is gonna be good. There you go. That's Cyber Guy. How do you theoretically
Man.
like pears? I just don't get it, Parker. Patar is Bob skipping right over it. I made my case to my wife, and she's like, "Yeah, I get it. I get it."
You didn't even make your case to us. You just said you theoretically like pears, and you're like, it makes sense. I'm like, okay, but like, how though? Like, how
Okay,
does it make sense?
it's like this. I've like had pears that I really like, but a lot of time I'll bite into it, and it's just like you know how sometimes you have apples that are like mealy or whatever, and the texture's just completely wrong? That's just what happens more often than not with me for pears, where, like, I'll go to eat it, and I'm like, "Man, the flavor's great, but the texture's just garbage." And so I theoretically, like, when pears are good, I like them, but I almost don't wanna risk
But
it.
you,
It's like,
I don't think that means you like them. I think that you need to
I
just
like the flavor. Let's go with that. And I
yeah,
like the
but like not liking the texture of a food is a big part of not liking a
you're
food.
not wrong. So that's why I theoretically like pears.
No, it
I
doesn't
like
make sense.
pears that have a like a good crunchy that have a good crunch. There you go.
Um, but if you want to feel better about yourself, A game theory editor just
Uh-huh.
spelled theoretically wrong. So there's that. Get done with that.
Theoretically.
Yeah.
Theoretically. All right, good
Don't let
stuff.
Matt Pat find out about that, or you're fired.
Patar, is Bob relieved that he won't be able to play Mario Maker 2 online with AJ? Yes.
He better be.
Yep. There you go. Dark Kook, what do you think Animal Crossing is going to be? Will it be a disappointment or does it live up to the franchise name? Also, what features do you think the Mini will have? So you think it'll bundle like the DS did? Mario Maker Bundle DS, for example, or Mario Maker DS Bundle. Okay, gotcha.
Um,
That was a lot of questions.
I don't think it's hard for them to live up to Animal Crossing name because, like, really all they had to do was Animal Crossing again.
Mhm.
Make it look better, maybe make it a little bit bigger world wise,
Yep.
add some more things to do with people and
Yep.
also yourself, I guess.
I mean,
But yeah,
expecting a video game franchise to do something creative shouldn't be the biggest thing in the world. So like as long as they do something creative and then
yeah,
stick to like what is good about them, should be great,
right.
right?
I mean, ultimately, for new games, all you gotta do is one big thing that people like. And
Hmm.
then that could be like, this is the most innovative thing that we've ever done because
Yep.
it added another thing and kept the rest of the stuff that we
Yep.
did. And that's true,
Yep.
because you did all the same stuff, but also one other new thing.
Yeah. I think it'll be good. What features do we think the mini will have? I think it'll be lacking some features,
Yeah.
but I think pretty much it'll just be a little bit easier to carry
I
around.
think a new feature, uh, like in asterisk, or
Yeah.
like a disclaimer at the end of that, will be like it'll have better battery life. But I think
Yep.
that's just because it'll have like more efficient parts,
Yep.
and a lot of like cheaper stuff
Yep.
that is like more efficient, but also less powerful in certain ways.
Yep. Agreed. Good questions. We'll have a bundle like the DS did. I'm positive it'll
Yes,
have a bundle.
100%.
I don't know if it'll be Mario Maker
I could,
until
if they're
later.
going to bundle anything, it's going to either be Pokemon or it's going to be Animal Crossing,
Yep.
or both, because
Yep.
both of those things have a very big handheld fan base.
Hmm. I think you were correct and true. All right, and then you can also comment in the YouTube community, where you ask some questions and then people answer them. And then here we go. Ian Irwin says, "I know we'll probably." I guess you asked probably what games we want to see or something like that.
Yeah,
I know it will probably never happen, but I want a new F-Zero so bad.
that'd be dope, and Falcon would be happy about that.
True. I think it could happen, but it's not now, unfortunately.
Yeah,
But it could definitely happen. I whatever.
they teased about it during the Wii U era. If it was going to happen ever, I would have thought it would have been then, because
Yeah.
like we got like they did the whole thing of like, is Falcon going to be in Smash Brothers? I don't know. Like they didn't reveal him from the start.
Yeah.
And then also they had the F-Zero mini game in Nintendo Land, and then also they did the Mario Kart 8 DLC for F-Zero. So
Yep.
like,
Yep. True. Yeah, Eric Henley says, "Do you think they will at least comment on SNES games or beyond for the Switch, or that would be a separate direct type of thing?"
I think they're going to do it separately.
Yeah, I think so too.
Maybe that'll be the Treehouse thing. Who knows?
Yeah, that could
But I
be.
don't I don't know if they'll do it at E3, like
Um,
their E3 direct.
yeah, I I think their thing with the. I mean, then again, they've never had a paid online before, and so usually they use E3 as like, I mean, it's a trade show, so they use it to sell things.
Mhm.
And in the past, like virtual console games and that kind of stuff wasn't. It was a feature for sure, but like
It
it
wasn't
wouldn't
something that
fulfill the
they,
same purpose
yeah.
that the online games do now. Whereas now, like they do sell something, so like they could, but I I I just don't feel
I
like
don't
they
know. I
will.
just feel like
I'd
them
like
having
them to.
Nintendo Directs just put like it allows them to keep E3 as E3.
Yep.
Like the
Yeah.
point of
Exactly.
E3 is to get people excited for software, like new software and
Yep.
hardware.
Yep.
And I don't feel like virtual console or like Switch Online or whatever fills that.
Yep. True. All right. 7 says, as always, my dream is to see a freelancer, remaster, remake, sequel, whatever. But realistically, I'm hoping to see more of Animal Crossing Switch and Beyond Good and Evil 2. I'm also looking forward to Ubisoft's Dancing Panda for the next Just Dance. Won't be E3 without it. True.
I don't even know what freelancer is. Do you
Me
know?
neither. No idea.
I never heard of that.
So,
Let me know in the comments what that is.
yeah, true. I'd like to know as well. We could also
I'm also hyped for Beyond Good and Evil 2. That game looks dope. That's one that I'm like, the question that Grimhane asked, in the event that turns out to be good, that'll be the new answer for that. Because like before they announced it, I don't care about Beyond Good and Evil. But then I saw Beyond Good and Evil 2's trailer, and I was like, yo, that looks dope. I'll play that. But it has a very real possibility of being No Man's Sky sort of situation.
Yeah, no, very much so. James Rome gives 5 games that he wants to see, only one of which I think may even happen, but whatever. He wants Kingdom Hearts 4 at E3, remake of Diamond and Pearl, Pokemon Snap 2.
Well, I don't know if we'll see that. We're not going to see that at E3.
Yeah. iNinja 2. I don't know what iNinja is.
Yeah, I don't even know that.
And Skate 4. Rumors are strong for Skate 4. So I think
rumors have been strong for Skate 4 for years. Pokemon Snap 2, maybe that'll be on 3DS. Diamond and Pearl, we'll get it, but not this year. Maybe next year.
Yeah, could see that. And yeah, so those things. But I mean, if we see any of those, I'm excited for you, James. There you go. There's
You're
that.
Gonna be the one that called it. If iNinja 2 happens, you said it first.
Yep, I take no credit for that one because didn't even know what it was. And last but not least, Urumov's briefcase said Paper Mario. That was as if Mario.
Yeah.
Paper Mario, whatever, it doesn't matter. Paper Mario, yeah, that would be awesome.
How dare you minimize his comment and say it doesn't matter? How dare you?
It doesn't matter.
That's just like somebody that only theoretically likes pears.
I mean, yeah, you know me. Yeah, that would be great. Do you think there's any chance we see a Paper Mario game this E3?
No. Maybe next year.
Yep. I could see it. I mean, I think we're more likely to see new stuff. We'll see a couple of new things at E3, but like
I just don't think we're going to get a Mario thing unless it's a Mario sports thing.
Right. Yeah, exactly. I think otherwise
maybe Paper Mario would be the other style.
Yeah. Oh, yeah, that's actually people have thought about that too. So that's the thing. Man, I hope we see another style for it. Maybe tomorrow. Today for you guys. That'd be just fun. So there we go. All right, that's all you guys comment and whatnot, and that is it for our E3 predictions and our just regular old directly to you podcast. You want to close out shop, AJ?
I thought you were going to do it. You're doing it.
Sure. All right.
Started.
Also, for anybody who's still listening, you've probably figured it out, but so now the Fanatics 4 is me and AJ, and Justin does stuff too, but Logan is no longer.
Rip Logan.
Yeah. So I mean, he's doing all right.
Rip.
He's not dead. All right.
Is he?
No.
Is he not?
Nope.
Do we know that? Do we know that for sure? No, I'm joking. Logan's fine.
Yep. That stuff. But yeah, in any case, that's it for this week. You should like, comment, and subscribe, blah, 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 to this channel. And also,
how dare you say blah, 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 blah.
Because they know
it's not like at least top 10 decisions that they should make today. That's at least. Right after eating oranges instead of raspberries. Right after that, they subscribe to this channel.
Okay, wait. Here's the thing. You ready for this situation?
What?
Coworker of mine came up the other day to me and Mitch. We were sitting there, and he was like, "You guys have anything sweet, like I don't know, chocolate or something like that?" And he was like, "I don't know, I just like need something." And Mitch was like, "I've got an orange," and he was like, "No, I don't want like that." I was like, "Right now, how would you feel about a raspberry?" And he's like, "Yeah, I mean, I guess." So
what does that even mean? I guess that's not. No.
It means that not that oranges are worse, but they're more of an investment. That is all.
No.
Moving on. Everybody comment down below and let us know what's your favorite thing to get in a Happy Meal.
Okay, yeah, let's do that.
That's the thing.
You getting
And then
fries or apple slices?
here,
I feel like
and
that's
we
a generational question too.
yeah, that's true. All right, yeah, that's about it. We will see you guys like the video and subscribe to this. And if for some reason you're listening to this and haven't seen our regular channel, head on over to Fanatics 4 and do that stuff too.
Yes.
That's it.
Okay. Goodbye.